Tonight, all the stars and the cars of the SMO Hardcore group have aligned for the 8th annual Racing for a Cure event, live from the Outland Speedway. So grab a snack, a drink, and strap yourself in because you're for a ride for your life. Next, live on DRTV on the DRL Network.
And we welcome you to DRL Network's live coverage of the 8th annual Racing for a Cure tonight from the Outland Speedway. A great event put on, and we're very honored to have a part of it here tonight. The SMO Hardcore gang putting this on this evening, a special Racing for the Cure to raise awareness for that dreaded disease that we all know, cancer, that we just so badly and terribly need to get rid of. And we're just so thankful to be a part of this event and all the guys over here at SMO, and an awesome event on hand tonight. The Outland Speedway, something very new to our, the Outward Speedway, I should say, a 2-mile oval, kind of a hybrid between what you call a Michigan and somewhere around like a Las Vegas type, maybe even a little bit of Charlotte sprinkled. So I think we're going to see something unique tonight here on DRTV. Thanks everybody out there on YouTube land for watching, and great to always have you aboard here. We appreciate all the support we get on the coverage here week after week around the air. My name is Phil Lacasse, along with 212 Todd Stanton, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, as always, in the DRTV control booth. Todd, what more can you say? When you come to an event like this, I mean, it's a great atmosphere. The SMO guys do a great job, and we're racing for a cure here tonight. Such a great cause to be a part of, and I'm just so honored and thankful to be a part of this, just to be a small part of this event.
Yeah, I'm honored to be a part of this event here tonight. This is actually the second time we've been live on DRTV with this event. It was a fantastic race last time that we raced this event, Phil. I expect nothing less than fantastic here this evening from Outland Speedway. I have not seen this track ever. It's Outward Speedway, excuse me, and I keep saying Outland Speedway because I'm thinking about a cartoon and something to that effect, but it is Outward Speedway here this evening. I've never seen this track, Phil. It's interesting. Like you were saying earlier, it's like a hybrid between Michigan and maybe the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
No, it certainly is, and it's something I think really unique, just watching these guys out here in the practice for the last 90 minutes or so. The groove seems to be up near the wall, and you have to see it. It certainly looks like these guys, it looks like an Outward Speedway, definitely a drafting type of racetrack. So I think we're in for a really unique flavor here tonight. 120 laps to main event, a 2-mile hybrid type oval here we're going to see here tonight. And Rich Patton, I mean, it's such an awesome event to be a part of. The 8th annual Racing for a Cure put on by the guys at SMO Hardcore, and just so thankful to get to have Jamie and Mike and Viper and all those guys that we know and love from SMO back on our airwaves, and just such a cool event to be a part of here as we raise awareness for cancer.
Yeah, most definitely. And go ahead, and I had the qualifying times up there on the screen just momentarily, but they've gone ahead and moved on from that, so they should be getting out on the track here shortly under happy hour. But you said it, a great group of guys out here running today, running for a great cure. This track is very interesting. It looks like turn 1 and turn 3's got a little bit more of a turn to it, and then 2 and 4, I'm sorry, kind of spread the radius out a little bit more, so they're going to be coming off them corners with some good runs, I think. And the track looks very interesting. First time I've ever seen it. And I think we're going to have one heck of a race here tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Cannot wait to get this Racing for a Cure, the 8th annual event, under the green flag conditions at 120 laps, the big main event distance tonight. But while we're pausing here for a few minutes in happy hour, about 8.5 minutes away from getting under the green flag, I want to talk to the guy in charge of putting this great event on for us, and that being SMO's own Mr. Jamie Tedder. Jamie, it's Phil Lacasse from DRTV, buddy. Do you have a copy? Try that one more. Jamie Tedder, Phil from DRTV, buddy. Do you get your ears on? All right, well, 0 for 2. I guess we'll have to try that quick on Jamie here in a couple of minutes. Probably just stepped away. I know he's got his hands full tonight being in charge of this event. Probably just stepped away, last drink of water and whatever. So, Todd, I guess a couple of minutes from now we'll try to get Jamie on the horn once again. But just certainly such a great event. I counted 18 drivers in the pit area for 120 laps. They're spread out all over this 2-mile speedway. I think we're going to need for a pretty good race. It looks like the high groove, maybe the fast way around, but now seeing guys in this draft, the inside lane looks to pull out just a little bit. So I think we're going to see some 2-wide and, you know, the distance of this track width-wise, maybe even 3-wide racing. We'll have to see what it takes.
They're definitely going to have to see what it takes. I've been looking at practice times and comparing them versus qualifying times, Phil. They were running 37.314 in practice, so they were running 37-second laps in practice. When you go down to qualifying, they were running 39-second laps, so drafting is going to play a key role here this evening. It's a great mod. It's a Gen 6 BR CTS version, so the CTS physics, Phil, and you know how well that works at some of these drafting tracks. The CTS is probably one of the best physics here in the NASCAR 2003 community. It's one of my favorites, and I know it's one of yours.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, we get the CTS type physics on a big, wide open track like this. Outward Speedway is appearing to be here in practice. I think we're going to see that once again here in race form in about 6 or 7 minutes or so. We get this thing under the green flag. I think we're going to see a lot of great two-wide racing around this place. So we'll see where all the twists and turns take us. The 8th annual Racing for the Cure over at SMO-Hardcore. Find them, SMO-Hardcore.com. A great bunch of guys run multiple nights a week. We get Jamie up here in the booth here in a few minutes. We'll ask him all about it. But Rich, Pat, I want to throw it on you real quick. Give a shout to all our sponsors and everybody responsible for getting DRTV out here this evening.
Oh yeah, you know, we couldn't do what we do out here for broadcasting for these racing leagues and everything as they request our services without some of these great people. Not to mention the sponsors that are involved in the event today. So big hats off to Dave over there at NRT Game Servers. Pretty much everything we run through DRL Network and DRTV is all done as part of NRT Game Servers. We have our hosting with them and everything. So if you're looking for game servers or even web hosting, check out Dave over at NRT Game Servers. It's a good place to go. Unbelievable customer service. Of course, DRTV, you're here watching DRTV Live. We try to bring live broadcasting to any league out there that requests it from us. We're more than happy to go above and beyond to give you guys the best broadcasting possible into the YouTube land. So, DRTV. Of course, DRTV runs out of the house of DRL Network. If you want to get a hold of anything for DRL Network or DRTV, go to www.drlnetwork.com. That's drlnetwork.com. If you're looking for broadcast information, we can help you out over there. Also, big hats off to SMO-Hardcore NASCAR Online Racing League. You can check them out at www.smo-hardcore.com. That's who's hosting this event tonight. So big hats off to all the guys over at SMO. Also, we're here tonight for one thing and one thing in particular, the SMO-Hardcore Racing for a Cure. As mentioned earlier, this is the 8th annual event. They do this every single year. DRTV is lucky enough to be second time broadcasting this with them. We were able to put it off last year, so thanks for having us again. And these guys put on one heck of a show for a good cause. It's outstanding.
Right, thank you very much, Rich. I'm sure if you were all done there or not. Did not want to step all over you here. So we're about 5 minutes away or so from putting this thing under green flag conditions. The 8th annual Racing for the Cure here at the SMO-Hardcore Clan. We tried to talk to Jamie Tedder here just a few seconds ago. We'll see if we can't once again try to get Jamie on the horn with us. So get him screened out and get him pulled in here. I think we got him now. Jamie Tedder, buddy. It's Phil from DRTV. Do you have a copy?
Yes, Phil, I do. How you doing?
We're doing great, buddy. And just want to thank you for allowing DRTV to be a part of this great event tonight, the 8th annual Racing for a Cure, an awesome event put on by all you guys over here at SMO-Hardcore. Tell us a little bit of insight and background about this event, Jamie, because it's certainly we're very, very honored to be a part of.
Well, it started obviously 8 years ago. One of our late members was Nighthawk, Hawk, which you guys are going to be doing the Hawk Tribute race for us next month. But he kind of started doing this, and after he passed away, I picked up and kept it going. Basically, we just want to show awareness and what have you for all cancers and all diseases, and hope that someday we will find a cure.
Well, it's certainly a novel event here, Jamie. We're so thrilled to be a part of it and say, well, all we can do to raise awareness to beat this dreaded disease. I think it has touched every one of our lives in some way, shape, or form, and I don't think anybody we can know out there is going to be excluded from that. So it's certainly just a great event to be a part of, and all we can do to raise awareness to beat this disease, I'm all for. So, Jamie, once again, thanks for being here tonight with us and saying a few words and giving us the opportunity to put this thing on the air once again this season. But, we're out here the first time, the Outward Speedway. I don't think any three of us up here in the booth have actually turned a lap on this joint. We're just watching in practice. tell us what this racetrack's going to be lined up for us tonight. How do you think the racing is going to be? What can we expect?
Well, in the draft, we're going to be running around 196, 198 mile an hour. It's a 2-mile track. One of our friends, Ryan Kelly, that used to race with us, he built this track, and it was supposed to be a fast Darlington is basically what it is. And sometimes it drives in the corners like Darlington, believe it or not. But some good setup, some good drafting. Pit road speed 60 mile an hour. Getting on and off pit road will be a little tricky, but overall, it should make for a great race.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Watching everybody in practice out there in the draft and working, this looks like handling going to play a key here tonight as well. But Jamie, I know we're going to be here in a month from now for the Hawk Tribute Race. I can't wait for it. And I think we have another event lined up here with you in the next couple of months. So we're going to see an awful lot of you. So while you got a minute out there, I want you to take a second here and just plug out the SMO-Hardcore clan. Let everybody know what nights you guys run and what kind of things are running, and just how everybody out there that want to get involved with you guys, how can they find you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Phil. SMO-Hardcore.com. We race on Sunday nights, which is the same cars we're running tonight. Monday night is our regular Gen 6 Sprint Cup series. Tuesday night is our Xfinity series. And Friday night rounds out with our CWS 15 truck series.
Well, Jamie, you guys got a lot going on. As always, a great group of guys to race with. I know I've raced here a few times over the years and cannot wait to come back here again because you guys are certainly first class, do a great job. So, Jamie, once again, thanks for a few words. Good luck tonight, and kudos to all you guys over here at SMO for putting on such a great event. We're so thrilled to be a part of it.
Thank you, Phil. And I just wanted to give one more shout out to the Insomniac guys. I've got three guys that came over from Insomniacs to join us tonight, and I appreciate them coming over.
Oh, absolutely right. All right, that's our good buddy Jamie Tedder. We'll let him get back to it. I know he's got his hands full as far as the adminship of these races, Todd. Which we know is a handful, and out there on the racetrack. So certainly going to be a fantastic night here on the DRL Network. 120 laps around the Outward Speedway here, Todd, and I can't wait to get this thing going because just watching these guys out here in happy hour, just all in the draft. I see maybe 2 and 3 wide, but very interesting. Something I did not pick up on here in practice, and the more I'm watching, the more it makes sense. This almost does drive like a Darlington-type feel, so I certainly think we're going to be in for one unique challenge here tonight, and I think it's going to make this for an awesome spectacle.
Yeah, it's going to make for an awesome race here this evening. And Mike Chevier, I've been watching some of these guys drafting pretty well with one another, Phil. It looks like we said, we were talking about drafting, and I can see where he says it almost drives like a Darlington track with the way the banking is, the way the progressive is. It's got a top groove. They're racing up on the top groove, and it looks like that's where the preferred line is going to be. Looking at Chevier and Pete Astrop out there on the speedway. Also, Jordan in that number 61 Caterpillar sponsor machine. A lot of nice-looking cars out there on the speedway here tonight, Phil.
Oh, fantastic prepared cars. Just a hats off to all these guys. Do all the painting because these things are just top shelf. I mean, there's so much we're going to see here. I'm sure Rich is going to give these things all the first-class treatment we can expect all night long. And, Todd, the time is just about here. I see the happy hour clock is clicking down to about 0. We're about to put this 8th annual Race for the Cure under the green flag from the Outward Speedway. So let's just jump straight to it, partner. Let's go straight to the starting lineup.
And now your starting lineup for the 8th annual Racing for a Cure presented by SMO-Hardcore Leagues. Starting on the pole, driving the number 43, that's Mike Chevier and his dancing partner to the outside. Driving the number 49, he's no stranger to victory lane here on DRTV, that's Frank Divins.
Heavy hitter rolling off from inside row number 2 from Champlain, Minnesota. The number 68, that'll be Bill Salo, and to his outside from Screaming Evil Racing in the number 50, that's Rex Adams.
Starting in that 5th starting position, driver out of Hueytown, Alabama, driving the number 21, that's Steve Looney and his dancing partner to the outside. Driving the number 24, out of Big Stone Gap, Virginia, that is Pete Astrop, also known as Viper.
Heinsberg, Vermont will bring us the driver of car number 61. That's RC, Dick Jordan in the 61. And to his outside aboard car number 7 from North Carolina, that's Kenny Tedder.
Out of Blowing Rock, North Carolina, starting that 9th starting position, that is the driver of the 910, that's Jamie Tenner, and his dancing partner to the outside, driving the 028, that's Monte Keller.
Rolling off on the inside of row number 6 will be the pilot of car number 5, that is Bob Kincaid, and to his outside in the number 81 from Sharon, Pennsylvania. So great to see him on the racetrack, an avid supporter of us here on DRTV. That's Bob Tompkins Sr.
Starting in that 13th starting position, one of them Insomniac Motorsports sponsored machines that is here this evening. Driving the 110, that is Dennis Chambers, and his dancing partner to the outside. Driving the 210, that's Fast Eddie Lee.
From Phoenix, Arizona, we find the driver of car number 76. That is Matt Wiedemeyer. And in the 013 to his outside, that's Charles Hooper.
Bringing up the rear of the field, driving the number 75, another Insomniac Motorsports sponsored machine. That's Jesse Klein. And his dancing partner to the outside, driving the 57, that's Andy Margot.
That is your starting field. 18 drivers tonight to take the green flag. The 8th annual Racing for the Cure, done up by the SMO-Hardcore clan. This is such a great event to be a part of. Cannot wait to see where this 120 laps is going to take us. Our front row, Mike Chevrier, the 43. Frank Divins, the 49. Row 2, Bill Salo. Frank's Screaming Eagle Racing teammate Rex Adams flanking him in the 50 in row 2. The field is in turns number 3 and 4. A 2-mile, kind of a hybrid type. Say a Darlington, maybe even a little bit of Charlotte, Las Vegas sprinkled in there. A different type of racing we're going to see here, but certainly, Todd, I think we're going to see drafting playing into a role. Cannot wait to get this thing under the green flag in just about a half a lap.
Yeah, just about a half a lap, and like we said, Chevier is going to set the pace with his dancing partner, the number 49 of Frank Divins. Divins, well, no stranger to Victory Lane, like I was commenting on here in the starting lineup. Divins has visited Victory Lane on DRTV, probably one of the drivers for the most times here on DRTV is Frank Divins visiting Victory Lane. But we're going to have to see if he can pull it off. There's a very stout field here this evening for the 8th annual Racing for a Cure here at the Outward Speedway. Pace van getting ready to pull off onto pit road there, make that hard left-hand turn. We're about ready to go racing here with this 8th annual Cure race, and we're getting ready to go to green flag. Green flag is in hand for the flagger. Flagger's getting ready to throw it. We're still waiting on the flagger, waiting lengthy wait for this flagger. Green flag finally in the air, and we're racing for the 8th annual Racing for a Cure, brought to you by SMO-Hardcore.
And the field in turn number 1 now for the first time. That was a very delayed green flag there, Todd. Certainly had us stretching out there, but Mike Chevrier, the 43-year pole sitter, he's going to duck out to an early advantage to the exit turn number 2 for the first time. Inside there on the inside, Bill Salo, the 68. He's right there in line there, marching alongside the 49 of Frank Divins. That's the race for the second spot into turn 3.
It looks like Bill Salo going to be able to complete the pass on Frank Divins. Divins drops back to third in that number 49 machine. Rex Adams now working with Divins on the outside in that number 50 machine. Those two are partnered up all evening long. I'm going to bet you they're part of the Screaming Eagles team here. So you're going to see them partnered up all evening long. They're not going to leave each other. Bill Salo now down on the bottom side in that number 68 machine. Nobody going with him right now as Mike Chevier is up on the top side of the speedway with the 49 of Frank Divins and the 50 of Rex Adams. Those guys able to clear the 68 of Bill Salo.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see out of these early laps, Todd, it's all the practice I did observe here. I thought the outside lane would be the preferred way around, and so far through the first opening lap here, certainly that appears that's going to be the case. Chevrier in the 43 out to the race lead. Frank Divins, Rex Adams, those Screaming Eagle teammates, as you said, they're on the top side. The Viper, Pete A. Straub, he's also there, that 24. The race is side by side now for the 5th spot between Kenny Tedder in the number 7, and I can't tell who it is. Alan might be R.C. Jordan down there, Todd, side by side for 5th toward turn 3.
Now that's still the number 68 of Bill Salo working on the bottom side of the speedway as the number 7 machine of Kenny Tedder drops down to try to help the 68 of Bill Salo. And Salo right now trying to push Kenny Tedder to the front right now. But that top group, Phil, right, working really, really well. The 110 of Dennis Chambers now moving up into the 5th position with help from, it looks like, I'm trying to catch who the help is from right now, but Steve Looney now working over the bottom side. Looks like Jesse Klein in the 57 machine is working with the 110 of Dennis Chambers. That's no surprise. 2 Insomniac teammates trying to work on the top side of the speedway. Bottom groove starting to come alive.
Yeah, bottom groove is starting to come alive. As Screaming Eagle guys, they've sprinted now to the low side. Frank Divins and Rex Adams, they just dove to the inside lane. Frank's going to pull the 49 out to the race lead. Looks like he'll claim the ownership of that race lead officially as they head toward turn number 1 start-finish line. Really offset down to the edge just toward turn number 1. Frank Divins, the 49, your new race leader. His teammate Rex Adams flanked right there alongside, right behind there in that second spot. The good race on the speedway, Todd, now it looks to be for that second spot as Kenny Tedder has pulled the 7 car down low. Can't quite make anything there, and here comes Mike Chevier, the 43. He's rolling again, once again up on that high side.
Yeah, Kenny Tedder trying to work on the bottom side of the speedway. He is now up alongside of the 50 of Rex Adams. Adams right now working over the top groove. The number 7 of Kenny Tedder still working on the bottom with the 68 of Bill Salo. P. Astrop also working on the top side of the speedway. They're 2x2x2, Phil, throughout the speedway, and this is what we were going to expect. You thought the top groove had the advantage. It does look like they have a little bit of an advantage coming off the corner here, but the bottom groove starting to make some way.
Well, it looks like they're getting the benefit of this car count in that low lane. I think naturally, if they start getting numbers down there, I think they're going to start marching forward just a little bit more and a little bit more as we see that into turn 3. Kenny Tedder, the number 7, he get a great push from the 68 of Bill Salo, the 21 of Steve Looney down there as well. Those 3 guys just digging on that inside lane, trying to chase down Frank Divins and Rex Adams, who have staked to the race lead. Don't think Kenny's going to get there, Todd. That's a great side-by-side battle off of the race lead, and they hit turn 1.
Yeah, looking down through the field, there's all kinds of racing going throughout the whole field. They're 2x2x2. I think that's almost 9 rows deep, Phil, through this whole field, and great racing going on throughout the whole field. These guys, it looks pretty tough, Phil, on the bottom side. It looks like they're drifting up the track just a little bit. It looks like it's a little hard to handle down at the bottom, and I think that's what's killing their momentum as they drift up the track just a little bit. It looks like they get it loose. It just doesn't seem like it handles as well as it does on the top side.
Now, you make that observation there, as I was just thinking the same thing. They're kind of coming off that bottom lane a little bit. How much do you think they're abusing their tires running that low side?
They have to be abusing their tires pretty good, Phil.
Oh, that's pretty sweet to the point right there. We'll have to see how that plays out. I'm starting to think Todd Stanton's got the Rich Patton syndrome down, over there in his neck of the woods and his side of the booth there. I think he may have a plate of food there as well, because that was a pretty brief answer. As they head into turn number 3, working now lap number 8 of 120. Looks like Kenny Tedder has snuck his way to the race lead there with help of Bill Salo in that number 68, that inside lane, Todd. They are on the march. They're going to stake claim to the race lead as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, indeed, they're going to stake claim to the race lead. As it now looks like the number 50 machine and the 49 are starting to slip back just a little bit. Now Tedder leaves the bottom groove. Kenny Tedder in that number 7 left the bottom, and now Bill Salo. Salo now out to the lead. Here comes Frank Divins, high-low switch maneuver. Looks like he's going to be able to pull off, Steve Looney down on the bottom side. 3 and 4 wide through the field here, Phil.
Oh, word. They were almost 4 wide off the exit of turn number 2. Jamie Tedder put the 9-10 all the way down to the inside. Looks like he was alongside, believe that may be the RC Dick Jordan machine, the 61 that was in that. Kenny Tedder was up against the wall. That was some hair-raising moments there. I think it was also the Viper, the 24 in there as well. They were almost 4 wide off of turn 2. Jamie thought better of that in the low lane. He pulled back inside there. They're 2 wide for the lead on back. Looks like Todd about 6 rows deep all the way back through the field. 2 wide for the race lead now, all chasing Bill Salo to turn 1.
Yeah, six rows deep is indeed the call there, Phil. They're side by side through here. Going to try to give a little bit of what their running order is right now. Currently, Bill Salo is your race leader. That may switch here at the line. We're waiting for the line as we get ready to go to the line here. It looks like Bill Salo is still going to be, Frank Divins is going to be your race leader. Bill Salo is going to be second. Rex Adams is third. Steve Looney is running fourth. Fifth is Dick Jordan in that number 61 machine. Kenny Tedder is sixth. Seventh is Jamie Tedder. Jesse Klein is eighth. Mike Chevier from his outside starting position or inside starting position there. He started on the pole. He's dropped all the way back to 9th. 10th is Matt Wiedemeyer. 11th, Dennis Chambers. P. Ace dropping to 24. He's dropped back to 12th. Fast Eddie Lee is 13th. Bob Tompkins Sr. is 14th. Kincaid is 15th. Margot is 16th. Monte Keller and Hooper round out your field. That's your full field rundown here, sponsored by the DRL Network.
And working now lap number 12 of 120. And I think looking at the fuel window here, we're looking at somewhere between 24 to 26 laps. So I believe we're about halfway through here. Still under the green flag. A great race so far being put on by SMO-Hardcore. The 8th annual Racing for a Cure. And such a great event to be a part of here. We were here last year. The 2015 version of this race was won by Bink Lucas, who unfortunately not in the field with us tonight. But, we certainly want to make mention of that. And just a kudos to all these guys here. Great racing going on at the Outward Speedway as they sprint toward turn number 1 and 2, Todd. It's still Bill Salo, the number 68, but he's got a challenge from Frank Divens in the 49 right there, and Steve Looney in the 21. That's side by side for about second place on back off of 4.
Yeah, Divens right now running in that second position. He has it. Steve Looney wants it, but Looney cannot complete the pass on the bottom side of the speedway in the 21. He falls back into the clutches of the 50 of Rex Adams. Adams now trying to get around Looney, and he's going to be able to do so here momentarily. Kenny Tedder working on the top side. Also, here comes the 61 machine. That is Dick Jordan. He's trying to work over the bottom side, but it's just the outside, Phil. So much more momentum as Kenny Tedder just blows by that 21 of Steve Looney going into the corner. It looks like Looney is able to hold up right beside him through the middle parts of the corner, but then they got one well of a run coming off that corner on the top side of the speedway, Phil.
Yeah, they got all their momentum up there, and I was just going to ask you, and I think I know the answer here. You're out there right now on the speedway. You know, say you're Mike Chevrier, you started on the pole, you lost your line, you got shuffled back. Are you perfectly okay if you're the 43 right now from the pole, riding about in that 8th or 9th spot, or do you want to make that charge back to the front? Because can you afford to come out of that outside lane? Do you think the inside lane has enough here halfway through a fuel tire run to maybe make a charge back forward?
Right now, I'm thinking about that first pit stop, Phil. Running about 9th position right now, I mean, I'm not too worried. I mean, Chevrier now up to the 5th position in that 43, but if I'm still running in 9th, I'm looking at that first pit stop, getting on pit lane and off of pit lane, flawless. I'm trying to get off the pit lane, get a good pit stop, and hopefully get out in front of the field. But you also have to have a drafting partner, so you got to figure out who you're going to work with here. And most of these guys have paired up with who they're going to work with before the race. But sometimes incidents happen where you lose your partner, so you have to chat back and forth and try to find somebody out there on the speedway and go on the same strategy. So right now, I'm sitting 9th, like Matt Wiedemeyer. If I'm sitting 9th, I'm just hanging out, relaxing, and trying to make it to that first green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's really interesting to think about as we talk about that first pit stop looming. Thinking about the banking of this racetrack, 28 degrees in the corners, all the way down to 5 degrees on the straightaways. You know, Todd, these guys right here, they're turning speeds that we see, congruent to like a Talladega or Daytona. These guys are over 195 mile an hour in the draft there on the outside lane. How tough do you think it's going to be getting off of that 28-degree banking when it evens out to that 5 and getting down onto pit road at pit road speed being 60? That seems to be a pretty tall task.
It's going to be tough, but not saying that I never raced this race, though, as we got a 3-wide battle for the second position there momentarily. It looks like Steve Looney on the bottom side, Jesse Klein in the middle, and the 50 Rex Adams up on the top side. He's the wingman of the 49 of Frank Divens right now. He's not leaving the side of the 49 of Frank Divens. And Divens right now being able to be propelled out front in front of Steve Looney. Looney tries to sneak, or it's not Looney, Klein tries to sneak up in between those two drivers. Not able to do so that time by, but Klein now motoring up alongside. So battle for the lead between Frank Divens and Jesse Klein. Klein trying to make his way to lead a lap here in this racing 8th annual Racing for a Cure.
Yeah, and Jesse, I think last time by was about in the 5th position. He started on the outside lane. He went to the middle. Now he's back to the low side here, trying to do all he can to maybe make the advantage out to the race lead. And it looks like off of turn 4, Todd, that 75, that Insomniac Motorsports Racing for a Cure machine, Jesse Klein, looks like he's going to have his way out to the race lead. Maybe not so fast. Here comes Frank Divens with his Screaming Eagle Racing teammate Rex Adams. They're too wide for the race lead now into turn 1.
Yeah, Frank Divens leads that time by .010. Divens just barely holding on, maybe just a smidge of the bumper there, able to hold on to that lap. So Klein was not able to lead that time by, but Klein is not going away on the bottom side of the speedway. And that number 75 machine, he's got help from many, many drivers behind him in the form of Steve Looney. You got the 61 of Jordan. They're working on the bottom side, but Fast Eddie Lee is one of those drivers in that number 910 or 210 machine. Fast Eddie Lee has worked his way up inside the top 5, and now he's battling for that 4th position with the 21 of Steve Looney.
Yeah, and he almost wanted to make that 3 wide getting through the entrance of turn number 3. Had to think better of that as there was no lane there at all to drive through. He pulls the 210 back in line. That's side-by-side racing for 5th place on back. They are too wide throughout this field. The first 16 cars all in touch at this lead pack, and we're probably about a handful of laps away from a first round of green flag pit stops. So I want to take this opportunity to ask our buddy, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. Rich, if you're out there in the 000, where do you want to be in this pack right now? You want to be at the front of this thing getting ready for the pit stop? Do you want to be at the back to lay back? Or I can't imagine you want to be in the middle of this thing. Where would you put your machine right now if you were out there?
To be honest, I think I would want to be working with a group of guys and make sure I'm the last car in that group. I don't want to get run over going into there. They're going to be coming into this pits pretty quick with not a whole lot of slowdown time. It's going to be tough for the first few cars in that group. They're going to have to get spread out. They're going to have to watch entering the pits and, transitioning off the track at those speeds to come down slow quickly. It's going to be a challenge. These guys are about to have their hands full, and I'm pretty sure I would want to be towards the rear of the first pack coming in.
Well, I think they certainly already have their hands full. Watching these guys as jockeying for position down to the low side, I see they're coming up on lap traffic. That being the 013 of Charles Super. He's off the pace. He's running 18th on the racetrack. He's about to fall one lap off the race lead. And Todd, I'm not sure if you get a glimpse of that. All the leaders all trying to make a dive for the inside lane. And now they're all single file as they get by that lap traffic when they hit turn 3.
Yeah, a lot of them staying single file. They're down on the bottom side, and I think they're preparing for their first green flag pit stop. The only guys that are out of line were Eddie Lee in that 210. Now he's able to pull down to the bottom side. And like you said, Phil, I think these guys getting ready for their green flag pit stops, and that's why you're seeing them single file out. And a lot of these guys are communicating back and forth who's going to go high, who's going to go low, down into pit road, and try to stay out of each other. You don't want to run over the guy in front of you. You don't want to cause an unnecessary caution. But if you were in the back, Phil, I'm telling you right now, and you watch these guys, I would almost want to stay out and wait for that first guy out there to come down on the pit road, because it may bring out a yellow flag, and you're in the catbird seat then.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, if I'm looking out there, I just wanted to make mention of our good buddy Bob Tompkins. His pit road is open, but I think you're absolutely right. I think I'd not want to be a part of that first wave, but pits are open. There's drivers onto pit road. I got the 49 of Frank Divins. I believe he pitted his way out of the race lead. The 49 down on pit road. 60 miles per hour is the pit road speed tonight. That Screaming Eagle Racing number 49 Ford making a long trek down pit road. Frank qualifying up in front of the field, so he's going to roll a long way to that second pit stall. Frank is on the sign. It is going to be left side tires in the air for Frank Divins. So it is just a two-tire pit stop. Just up ahead of him, the pole sitter, Mike Chevrier. I see right side tires on the 43. It's going to be right side or left. No, it's going to be 4 tires for Mike, 2 tires for Frank Todd. They're both down and away.
2 tires for Rex Adams, left side tires for the number 50 machine. He's down and away. He's going to join the back end of the 49 of Frank Divins. Those two working in lockstep and in tandem here this evening. And 2 tires to call for both of those guys, Phil.
All right, so just awaiting more action on this end of pit road as the field coming off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. It looks like Dennis Chambers, Matt Wiedemeyer, those guys all still waiting to come to pit road, as is Jamie Tedder and Steve Looney, all part of that lead bunch. Here they come now off of turn number 4. Looks like every one of them guys is going to be off on the binders. Here they come, 4 cars strong off on pit road. I'm in the 910 pit of Jamie Tedder. Let's see what the SMO-Hardcore leader has in store here in his first pit stop, as contact onto pit road there. Not sure if one got turned in the wrong direction, but I'm still awaiting the 49 or the 910 rather onto pit road. Jamie makes the hard left-hand turn. Jamie Tedder, he overshoots his pit stall. Todd can't get into his stall. He's backed up. He's come forward. Not sure he's going to get service there at all. Tough break for Jamie Tedder.
Yeah, I was watching in Insomniac Motorsports, guys, the 210 and the 75. They took 4 fresh tires, and coming off of pit road, the 210 of Eddie Lee, it looks like they make slight contact with another driver. Could not catch a glimpse of who that other driver was, but Eddie Lee spun around off the exit of pit road there, and he's able to get it gathered back up, but that's a costly mistake there by the 210 of Eddie Lee.
Yeah, it certainly is, and costly mistake for Jamie Tedder, the 910. I saw 4 tires for Pete Astrop, the number 24 Viper. I seen 4 tires on the 21 of Steve Looney. So a lot of different strategy plays, Todd, on this end of pit road, and just trying to figure out who may sprint out here with the race after this first round of pit stops. Looks like it may be the 75 of Jesse Kleintodd when this thing cycles back through.
Yeah, it's looking like it may be Jesse Klein in the 75 machine, but I'm not sure who is actually going to be. I'm watching Bob Tompkins Sr. down on pit road right now. He's getting left side tires in the number 81 of Bob Tompkins Sr. Looks like Bob Tompkins Sr. now down and away. He's completed his service. One of the advocates, one of the main guys down in the DRTV chat box when we had the DRTV chat box. But Bob Tompkins, always a guy, always a follower here for the DRTV crew. He's always out there watching, so he's a fan and a driver of DRTV.
Yeah, and it's so great to see the 81 out on the racetrack. Love just catching up with Bob Tompkins when we can, and if we get an opportunity here tonight, at some point where we have a yellow flag, I certainly am going to make a beeline to get Bob Tompkins up here in the booth, because this would be cool. We'll talk to him as we have cycled through officially the first round of green flag pit stops. Working now lap number 28. It looks like Frank Divins Todd now has reclaimed stake with the race lead in the number 49 with Jesse Klein, Rex Adams, Dennis Chambers, and Steve Looney. Your top five now. Yellow flag on the speedway. Yellow flag for the first time tonight. We were just talking about if we get a yellow flag, we'll try to talk to Bob Tompkins and we can report a yellow flag on the speedway. Not sure what happened there, but can we really say that? The 81 of Bob Tompkins, Todd, he blew a clutch. Oh, tough break for Bob.
Yeah, he was pulling off the pit road and just smoke for the Bob Tompkins Sr. In that number 81. Tough break. Clutch. He's the first guy out this evening, and this is not what he wanted to do here tonight. I almost want to guarantee you, Bob.
All right, Rich, I believe you're ready with a DRTV replay. Show us what happened to our good friend Bob. I'm going to see if we can get a word with him here afterward, but show us what happened.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on the 81 of Bob Tompkins Sr. as he's coming out of the pits, down on the apron, getting ready to come up on the track. We'll play this out at full speed. The motor, the clutch is just going to let go just as he shifts. You saw the car just now shift as it jumped a little bit, and as soon as he did that, something went bang. And a tough break for Bob Tompkins Sr. as he rolls that car off the track down onto the apron. Hopefully enough speed to get him back around to the pit so he doesn't cause any other problems on the track. But tough break for Bob. It was great to see him out here. As you guys mentioned, he's already a big advocate for DRTV. So tough break to you guys. Back up to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Rich. And it's just so unfortunate to see Bob Tompkins out of the event here. Probably our most loyal and avid supporter, Todd. We'd love to catch up with Bob, and hopefully we can get a word with Bob here. Bob, it's Phil from DRTV, my friend. Do you have a copy?
I got you, go.
Bob, it is so good to talk to you again, my friend. It's been far, far too long. I know we're usually in the chat box going back and forth, and it was just so great to see you out on the racetrack. We're so sad to see you out of the event so soon, Bob. How was the racing out there?
Everything's pretty good. The track's good, setup's good, everything was fine. I just had a little computer problem here.
No, well, that's certainly unfortunate to hear, Bob. It's as always, it's so great to talk to you. It's so good to come over to SMO and see all you guys. I know you guys are there, so many nights a week, all great racing, and this is first high-class group, and I think you're thrilled to be a part of that. And tell us what being a part of an event like this Racing for the Cure event means to somebody like you and to SMO as a whole, because this is certainly a unique event and something we're just truly so thankful to be a part of.
Yeah, Bob, I know we're going to do this every year, and I plan for it every year. And really sad that it's out. It's good for a good cause. I lost my mother. I lost two sisters to cancer, and I know what that's all about. So, but it was really good being here. My God, I planned for this for so long, and now I'm out. But these guys will put on a good show, and I want to thank everyone in SMO and the crew. You're my favorites.
Well, you're certainly a favorite of ours, Bob. It's so good to not talk and text here. It's so good to just chat with you once again. We're so sad. We were so excited to see you as part of this field, and as always, anytime we get over to SMO, we see your name, our faces light up. We're just so thrilled to have you on the racetrack. Probably a senior member of this community we all look up to and respect. And are we going to see you out here in a month when we get out here for the Hawk Tribute race? Because we certainly hope so.
Yeah, I'll be here. No doubt. Hope it ends up better, but just being a part of it's a big deal for me.
Well, that's great to hear, Bob, and we can't now wait to talk to you once again here in a month. We'll certainly get a hold of you because you're one of the best guys we love to interview, and I know all the support you give to us with DRTV. We're so thankful for. So, Bob, once again, it's so unfortunate and sad for us to see you out of the event so soon, but I know you'll take in the rest of the night and enjoy the race, and we'll talk to you again real soon, buddy. Thank you for a few words, and sorry about your luck, but you'll be back. I know you will.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's our good friend Bob Tompkins, guys. So good to talk to Bob. He's one of our biggest, greatest supporters, and I know we were all excited. I know we talked about it off the air, guys. We were so thrilled to see Bob out on the speedway. I believe I don't want to say it, Ty. I know he I don't know if we have his age out there, but I say Bob is the senior member of this community. I believe him and Andy Margot. I think both guys, I guess we qualify as seniors, and two of the greatest guys in this community. See if we maybe can't talk to Andy here in a little while as well, but. Just one of the great things when you come to SMO, Todd. These guys are just top-notch, first class, and love to talk to all these guys.
Yeah, they are fantastic guys, Phil. I'm telling you right now, class acts over here at SMO, and a lot of these guys, those guys are definitely senior members of our group here in this community, and they're still out there pushing the pedals and racing around here with us young guys, and throwing it down with us young guys. So I'm glad to hear a conversation. I can now put a voice to the name. I've never actually got a chance to talk to Bob Tompkins Sr. So Bob Tompkins, you do a fantastic job out there, and I'm glad to see you out there with us young guys out there racing, and glad to see you a part of the DRTV crew and that kind of stuff when you're in the chat box. So, Bob.
Yeah, it's so great to talk to him when we can, and he's one of the great guys. All these guys over here at SMO, just a first-class bunch of guys, and I can't recommend racing with them enough. I know they run multiple mods, multiple nights a week here. SMO-Hardcore.com is, Todd, we're just about a lap away from putting this 8th annual Racing for the Cure back under the green flag. I was just going back through the replay because I certainly seen something strange going on there. I don't know if there was just a brief alien abduction going on there, but I swore I saw a car flipping off of the distance. But just rewinding that, maybe I was seeing different, but certainly some weird stuff going on here. First time we've ever been to the Outward Speedway, Todd, and through these first 25 laps or so, certainly made for some great racing. I think we're going to be in for a treat for the rest of this thing.
First off, Phil, what are you on tonight? You're seeing cars flip now? What is going on with you? I mean, I just have to ask you that. But, yeah, it's been a good night here at Outward Speedway. I just have to see what Phil is on here tonight. Maybe I need to enjoy some of that here later on in the going. But we're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Pace van moved down to pit road there. Took that hard left-hand turn. Get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Dennis Chambers is going to be your current race leader with Jesse Klein, and the 75 green flag is in the air. Late green flag like normal here is Dennis Chambers storms down into corner number 1 with Jesse Klein right there in his tire tracks.
Jesse Klein right there in the tire tracks, as you said. Frank Divins also there in that pack. 4th car in line there is at number 49 as they sprint off of turn number 2. Working lap number 33 as the field hits turn 3. All chasing Dennis Chambers now in that number 110. Jesse Klein there, the 75. He's looking to the inside. He'll fall back in line, Todd. Are we going to see those Insomniac Racing teammates? Are they going to go side by side for the race lead? No, Jesse will ride on the tire track. Single file off of turn 4.
Yep, single file off of turn number 4. These guys racing right now. It looks like single file. Staying single file. The 21 of Steve Looney is running in that 3rd spot. 4th is Matt Wiedemeyer in that number 76 machine. 5th is the 49 of Frank Divins. Divins still hanging back there. These guys pretty much following lockstep in one another, and these guys are trying to stay single file, Phil. There, how much longer do you think these guys will stay single file around this racetrack, though? I think you're going to start seeing some of these guys pull out of the line and start getting racy here again.
I think it's only a matter of time before they get racy here. And you said we saw around a green flag pit stop, so these guys have certainly shown they can go too wide around this place and certainly make a great race of it. But I'm just wondering, Todd, how much tire wear you think these guys seen on that first run? We're seeing these guys now inclined, all riding up along the wall, not seeing nobody peeking out of line. Well, as we say that, I think Frank pulled out of line in the 49. No, he'll fall right back into that high side. So, I don't know, Todd. We're expecting these guys to get racy. What do you think we saw as far as tire wear through that first run?
There had to be some kind of tire wear. Again, I have not been around the track, but there had to be some sort of tire wear in that first run. We're going to have to catch up with one of these guys to see what kind of tire wear that these guys are actually getting, if we're able to catch up with them. But it looks like we're going about 3 wide here. It looks like Fast Eddie Lee in that 210 machine. He's made a move around the 43 of Mike Chevier. He's up to 6. Now 3 wide battle there is now Fast Eddie Lee down on the bottom side. It looks like the 49 of Frank Divins in the middle.
Yeah, Frank Divins stuck in that middle. Steve Looney up to the high side. Eddie Lee down low. They're pulling up on lap car Rex Adams, who just left pit road about a lap ago. They've swallowed him up, have the race leaders. 2 wide now around that lap car. Side by side for the lead. It's Jesse Klein up high. Steve Looney down low. Give Jesse the lead, Todd, as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, Jesse Klein now to the lead in that number 75 machine. He is now in front of the 110 of Dennis Chambers. Chambers able to follow lockstep with the 75 of Jesse Klein, as it looks like the 76 of Matt Wiedemeyer trying to work on the bottom side. He has help from the 49 of Frank Divins. Divins working on the bottom side of the speedway with Matt Wiedemeyer, but these guys working lockstep with one another, and it looks like they're making some headway on the bottom side of the speedway.
Side by side for that second spot down the back straightaway, all chasing Jesse Klein into turn 3. Matt Wiedemeyer in the low side with Dennis Chambers up high. They're 2 wide there for second spot. Wiedemeyer going to look for the lead off of turn 4. But we were just talking about, I swear I saw something there bizarre under yellow flag, and I think, Todd, I might have been right. So, Rich, I believe you have a brief replay to show our viewers maybe I'm not crazy after all.
Yeah, let me get this in picture for everybody. We're going to keep our eyes on the 50 of Rex Adams. Now, many sim racers out there know what happens when somebody drops out, somebody glitches, or what have you. On my screen, it looked like he just glitched out. So we're going to go ahead and play this in full speed. Keep your eyes on that 50 because he's going to disappear. Matter of fact, let's move the camera up to Divins right in front of him so you can watch what happens and it doesn't disrupt us. We'll play this out. That 50 is about to disappear. He's right there on the right side of your screen. But as soon as he disappears, there's a gap. There he goes. He's gone. Next thing you know, he's out of the track. A lap later, he's able to get back in. Not sure if it was an internet connection or what caused it, but that's going to hurt Rex because he fell out of the game. And now when he comes back in, you saw him pop back in place there a couple times. He's popping in and out. But finally, he drops completely out. He's going to have to come back in, get connected again, which put him back on pit road. And that's why we caught him a lap later or so, coming off of pit road and joining this race back another lap or 2 down. So tough night for Rex tonight. As you can see, they closed the gap up. He's completely gone there. And now he's got some ground to make up, guys. Back up to you.
Well, we know Rex has certainly been fast all night. He was up near the front of this field, and Todd 1 lap to the rear as we're seeing these guys 2 wide for the lead on back. If we're to get a yellow flag later on, I think Rex Adams will be in line to get a lucky dog, and I think he's rooting for that right now because that 50 seemed to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack tonight.
Yeah, he's indeed one of the fastest cars out on the racetrack. Is at number 50 of Rex Adams, and I didn't hear anything about flipping there, Phil, but maybe that's just something you've seen on your screen. We'll have to see that later on in the going. You're going to have to show me that. But Matt Wiedemeyer is on the bottom side of the speedway right now, fighting side by side with the number 75 of Jesse Klein. Klein right now has the lead. Wiedemeyer wants the lead. They were last time by, they were .048 between each other. That line on the top side of the speedway being led by Jesse Klein gets a whale of a run off the corner as they come down the front straightaway here. It looks like Matt Wiedemeyer is going to be able to lead that time by. Wiedemeyer, now your current race leader. These guys almost tried to make a 3 wide. The 49 of Frank Divins tried to stick it in the middle. He thought better of it and backed out of it, and he dropped back into line.
Yeah, he certainly did. I thought he was going to peek that thing out into that 3 wide formation down toward turn 1. He certainly thought better of that. Going to push Matt Wiedemeyer up to the race lead in that number 76, but here comes an Insomniac group up high. Jesse Klein, Dennis Chambers, those 2 guys glued to each other in the outside lane as they duck back off of turn number 4. Todd, seeing the 49, he's putting left side tires below that yellow line. Not sure if there's extra grip down there, but he seemed to lose a lot of time as the outside lane now on the march as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, indeed, that outside line on the march. It looks like Frank Divins now sticking it back into the middle with that 49 machine, trying to make it 3 wide once again. He has to back out of it as that door, that opportunity closes between Wiedemeyer and Jesse Klein. Klein right now battling back on the outside, trying to take the lead back from the 76 of Matt Wiedemeyer as a 110 of Dennis Chambers working in lockstep with that number 75 machine on the top side of the speedway. These lanes are pretty much equal all the way around the speedway. Wiedemeyer does not look like he's going to be able to lead this time by. These guys have been changing lap after lap after lap. Now Jesse Klein leads that time by.
Yeah, they said they're just changing the lead here lap after lap, and 2 and almost sometimes 3 wide racing all over this outward speedway. Frank Divens trying to get that middle lane marching, just can't quite get the run he needs to make that work to his advantage. He's going to fall back to that second car in the inside lane. Those Insomniac guys on the top side, Jesse Klein, Dennis Chambers, those guys working really, really good in the outside lane. Steve Looney there as well in that number 21 machine, but you look at that inside lane, they pull up there at the exit of those corners, get that great run down the straightaway, that being Matt Wiedemeyer. Frank Divens there, also fast Eddie Lee. He's in that inside lane as well, pushing those guys around this 2-mile outward speedway. This, of course, the 8th annual Race for the Cure. Down for the SMO-Hardcore guys, SMO-Hardcore.com, as they are 3 wide now. Todd Frank made that middle lane work, 3 wide in the turn 3.
Yeah, he had help from his wingman, of course, Rex Adams in that number 50 machine. He's able to push the 49 of Frank Divens up alongside. These guys are still 3 wide here, coming off the corner here, as now it looks like Frank Divens able to get around the 76 of Matt Wiedemeyer. There was another developing story there, Phil, and I think you caught that one, is somebody hit the apron and saved it.
Oh, Charles Hooper, the 013, he was a second car in the inside lane, 3 wide. He had to make an evasive maneuver not to get into contact with that middle lane. Got 4 tires below the apron, got that thing sideways almost through the grass, and miraculously enough, he was able to save it. I'm not sure if Rich is able to go back and maybe give a look at that. Fantastic driving by Charles Hooper in the 013. Unfortunately, it looks like he's lost the draft, but incredible piece of driving right there, Todd.
Yeah, indeed, a credible piece of driving there for Charles Hooper in that 013 machine. He's able... It could have been bad, but it was awesome save by Hooper, and that's one of the best saves we've seen here tonight, Phil. That might be one of our All-State You're in Good Hands awards there at the end of the race here for Charles Hooper. Is Mr. TV Time Rich Patton is going to actually get a replay queued up for us, so everybody can see that out there in YouTube land. I'm watching these Insomniac Motorsports guys as there was a door check up towards the front of the field. It looks like the 49 of Frank Divens door checked the 75 of Jesse Klein. That was interesting. Klein able to still be able to motor down the front straightaway here with the 110 of Dennis Chambers. He's running in that second spot on the top side. But I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time Rich Patton, who has that great save by Charles Hooper in that 013 machine.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on that blue and pink car right there. Second car back inside lane. He's going to go down. That's going to be Hooper. He's going to go down. We're going to run this at full speed. Clips the apron, got a little bit loose. That's what pointed him down to the aprons. He tried to save it. Ladies and gentlemen, watch this. That car is sideways going down the front stretch. Thank goodness for that inside wall. He's able to bounce it off that wall. Not a whole lot of grass there to get him too messed up. I think if he had a bigger infield, he probably would have spun it around. But hats off to Hooper for outstanding recovery and driving. He did lose the draft. Going to have some driver's side door damage, I'm sure, for bouncing off that wall. But guys, he is still in this thing. Amazing driving.
That was just incredible driving there by Charles Hooper. And Todd, just I'm sure our guys out there watching YouTube certainly know this, but just how incredibly tough is that at 195 miles per hour to be 3 wide in a place like this that is wide open, you get that throttle mashed to the floor and break one of them things sideways on the apron and save that thing and not take out the field. How incredibly tough is that?
Really incredibly tough. It's not no easy task, even coming from a dirt racing side of things, dirt racing community side of things. When you get sideways, you think you're better prepared for that kind of stuff, and sometimes you're just not. I've been more times than often than not, I've been completely sideways through a corner and been able to save it. But Phil, I can't tell you how I saved it, and I bet you Charles Hooper probably can't tell you how he saved it either. It's one of those types of things where close your eyes and hope for the best, and maybe you'll save it.
Yeah, I guess as our buddy Martin would say, it was a hold my beer and watch this kind of moment there. It was that 013 was certainly sideways off of turn number 4. Just updating back in the front of the field, the 49 of Frank Divens with help from teammate Rex Adams, who was 1 lap down in the rears. They've been able to charge their way to the race lead. Jesse Klein's been shuffled back to that second position, but he's got a battle on his hands, Todd. The 76 of Matt Wiedemeyer, he's got that machine. It's all rolling on the low side. He's up the second. He's going to look for the pull aside that Rex Adams machine. Matt Wiedemeyer marching forward into turn 3.
Yeah, Matt Wiedemeyer able to march forward on the bottom side now. It looks like they're going to slide up and shift up in front of the number 75 of Jesse Klein. Now Klein dives down to the bottom as Wiedemeyer and the number 49 of Frank Divins, and of course Rex Adams, who is one lap down in the rears right now, but able to stay here with this lead pack. It looks like Matt Wiedemeyer way high in that number 76 machine. That's going to leave the door wide open for the 75 of Jesse Klein. Now Klein trying to break up this duel, this tandem up front here between the number 50 of Rex Adams and the 49 of Frank Divins. These guys have been able to hold off Jesse Klein, but now Rex Adams drifts up the track. Here comes the 75 of Jesse Klein. Klein now, looks like Klein's coming down pit road, Phil. I wasn't sure what he was doing, but there's all kinds of guys coming down on pit road.
Yeah, pit road is certainly open and a busy place, and it does make kind of sense there as we're now working lap number 52. I think these guys pitted around lap number 26. They'd have a caution flag, but pit road is open. Let's see what's going to go on with that black and purple number 75 Jesse Klein machine. He's on the sign. It's going to be at least 2 right side tires for 75. Work to the right side's done. We'll see. Will they swing over to the left side? Is it going to be gas and go for the 75? No, left side's in the air. So a 4-tire pit stop, Todd, for Jesse Klein on this end of pit road.
Yep, 4-tire pit stops for Fast Eddie Lee aboard the number 210, the other Insomniac Motorsports guy, and the 110 of Dennis Chambers. 4 tires is the call. Those guys both down and away. They're going to join the tail end of the number 75 of Jesse Klein, and those guys go to work together. That's one of those things, Phil. You have partners out there on the speedway able to help you out, and that's one of the things. You don't want to get trapped by yourself, especially when it's a drafting track. It's going to make for a long night if you don't have any partners.
No, absolutely right here. And I'm looking toward pit road here as they work through turns number 3 and 4. I'm assuming in another lap or so we're going to see more of these drivers dive their way onto pit road, thinking they probably saved the benefit of maybe 2 or 3 laps with that caution flag, as these guys all are going to pass by pit road. Once again, got our eyes on the race leaders. Frank Divins in the 49, Matt Wiedemeyer, Steve Looney, Mike Chevrier, RC Dick Jordan, the 61. He's currently 5th. Bill Salo, 6th. Monty Keller, 7th. Bob Kincaid is 8th. Andy Margot, 9th. Jamie Tedder is 10th. Pete A. Strops, 11th. Kenny Tedder, 12th. Charles Hooper, 13th. 14th is Rex Adams. 15th, Jesse Klein. 16th, Eddie Lee. Dennis Chambers is 17th. And unfortunately, Bob Tompkins, he'll finish up 18th tonight. Those are the Somniac Motorsports guys, 15 through 17, have all found their way to pit road. And pits are open again here, Todd. A busy place. I believe our race leader has found the pit side.
Yep, Frank Divins down on pit road. He slows it way down here for the 49 machine of Frank Divins. He's making his way down the pit road, and he qualified up towards the front here with that number 49 machine. So he's got a long truck down pit road with that 49 machine. Let's see if it's going to be 2 tires or 4 tires is going to be the call. Let's see what happens. He gets down into his pit stall. He nails the pit stall right in front of the sign. He nails that part of that. Right side tires going on the 49 of Frank Divins. Left side tires going also on the 49 of Frank Divins. And it looks like 43 of Mike Chevrier in front getting service also, but Frank Divins down and away in that 49 machine.
It was a 4-tire pit stop for the 76 of Matt Wiedemeyer as well. Looks like also 4 tires for the 21 of Steve Looney on this end of pit road. Todd, that service all down and away for those guys.
Yep, watching all kinds of different strategies here. Some of these guys pitted early. Some of these guys pitted a little bit later. I'm in the pits of the number 910 and Jamie Tedder. He was the benefactor of that last caution. He was almost 14 seconds back from the field there when we got the yellow flag from Bob Tompkins Sr. When he ignited his engine there, the clutch on that 81 machine. So 910 and Jamie Tedder was a benefactor. He took 4 tires. He's down and away.
It was 4 tires for RC Dick Jordan, the 61. Also 4 tires for Bill Salo. Serviced on those machines. They're going to rejoin the field. Todd, all down and away as they exit turn 2, exiting pit road.
And it's looking like the field is starting to get repacked and restacked here after green flag pit stops here. It looks like the Insomniac Motorsports guys may have got out in front of the Frank Divins and the 50 duo there of Rex Adams. The Screaming Eagle teammates around the speedway is right now it has Jesse Klein out in front as these guys are still pitting. Some of these guys, Kincaid is out front actually as of right now. These guys have not come down pit road. It's Kincaid and Margot out front. And Pete Astrop aboard the number 24 machine. That's Viper. He is your current race leader. I'm not sure if they have come down pit road yet. They may have, Phil, and they may have not took any tires on their pit stops. I kind of missed their pit stops.
I certainly did too, and I'm just going to go back and try to rewind, but I think, yeah, they all came down pit road for service, and I believe you're right. Gas and Ghost for both Andy Margot and Bob Kincaid at that number 5. They had a great pit stop, but as you say, Todd, needing that dance partner out there, and that pack formed up awfully quick. The Insomniac guys teamed up. Screaming Eagle Racing all teamed up there as well. And I believe Jesse Klein, Todd, he's asserted his way back to the race lead with that number 75 as they're in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, Jesse Klein has inserted himself back to the race lead. The 110 and Dennis Chambers running in that second spot. Frank Divins is third. Kincaid is fourth. Andy Margot is fifth in that number 57 machine. 6 is Bill Salo. Dick Jordan in the 61. He is seventh. Steve Looney is eighth. Ninth is Matt Wiedemeyer. P. Drop Viper in that number 24 machine. He is 10th. 11th is the 210 of Eddie Lee. Fast Eddie Lee. 910 of Jamie Tedder. He is 12th. Kenny Tedder is 13th. Mike Chevier 14th. Monte Keller 15th. Charles Hooper in that 013 machine, he is 16th, and Rex Adams is 17th. And 18th, rounding out the field here with early race issues, is Bob Tompkins Sr.
Yeah, just looking up and down in this field, these guys are all spread out here. Is Frank Divins on the 49 now trying to put his way back to the race lead down the backstretch and toward turn number 3. He will complete the pass on Jesse Klein, so move Frank Divins back to the race leads to turns number 3 and 4. As they've lap car up ahead, I believe that may be just on officially as the 28 Monty Keller. They just run him down. They're going to put Monty one lap to the rear. They had to make an evasive maneuver there to split them, Todd, but they are side-by-side racing now. Frank Divins out for the race lead in turn 3.
Yeah, Frank Divins out in the race lead. He's trying to get around the 013 and Charles Hooper. He's going to be able to do so, put him one lap down into the rear. Here comes Rex Adams in the number 50 machine. He's challenging the 75 of Jesse Klein. He's trying to stay in that lucky dog position in that number 50 machine. But here comes the 110 of Dennis Chambers helping his Insomniac team of the 75 of Jesse Klein. Klein now trying to work over the top side of the speedway, but Rex Adams right there running door handle with the 75 of Jesse Klein. That is not a battle for position, but Rex Adams has not left the wing of the 49 of Frank Divins here, even being a lap down, just trying to help out his Screaming Eagle teammate. Frank Divins still being able to propel to the lead with Rex Adams right there in his tire tracks.
Yeah, and Frank not getting up that low lane. He's just moving up just enough to catch that draft of the 75, and then back to the low side where he lets his teammate, that number 50, keep him out in the race lead. Just as we say that, here comes Jesse in the outside lane, the 65 or 75 rather. Can't quite get the run there. Can't get enough of a push there on Frank Divins of the 49ers. Contact on the racetrack. Yellow flag out on the racetrack. Think it was contact there around the 76 of Matt Wiedemeyer. Todd, what did you get to see there?
Wiedemeyer, looks like Matt Wiedemeyer may have got into the back end of the 75 of Jesse Klein. Klein does not look like he got a lot of damage. He just barely nosed into the wall in that number 75 machine.
And how much do you think, Todd, is that as a product of maybe, say, a side draft kind of thing? Because I'll let Rich tell the story there when he gets to the replay. We've seen Jesse out there in the outside lane trying to do all he can. How much do you think Frank Divins is offsetting from that high lane to the top lane? How much do you think that upsetting the handle of the 75? Because it looks like him and the 76 may have made contact there, but it looks like it might have just been a disturbance of the air that precipitated that.
It could have been a little bit of a disturbance in the air. It just looked like they were hard racing. And, Phil, it's one of those things where they're on different strategies. It could be on 2 tires. It could be on 4 tires. It could be on no tires there. And, just looking at the setup here in the later portion of the race, it's really, really hard to stay on the bottom side of the speedway. It looks like the setup tends to drift up just a little bit if you don't let out the gas, and you're not able to stay on the bottom side of the speedway. So that could be a call. It could be a whole number of things.
No, it certainly could there. So a multiple car incident putting us on a yellow flag for the second time tonight. The 8th annual Racing for the Cure. Just raising awareness for cancer. We're going to beat that dreaded disease. Over visiting SMO-Hardcore tonight. The 8th annual race. Second time we've been able to put this event on the air in consecutive years. So thrilled to be a part of it tonight. We're on lap 64. Just past the halfway marker. And I believe Rich is ready with the DRTV replay. So Rich, show us what happened there. A multiple car incident off of turn number 4.
Yeah, most definitely. We're going to keep our eyes in the beginning of this on 76. That's going to be Wiedemeyer. We're going to let him run this out. It looks like he got down low on the track. It flattens out down there on the bottom of the track, and that's going to cause him to wash up a little bit. We're going to watch him there in the orange and white car or orange and gray car. As he gets down into this corner, he gets down low into the flat area. That's going to push him back up. Makes contact with Chambers in the 110. Chambers goes up into the wall. That also sent him into the left rear corner of Tedder, I believe. Or Klein, I'm sorry. If Klein as well, we'll switch the camera over to Klein. Weedy was able to continue on, made a little bit of contact down there with another vehicle, but we're going to go ahead and let that run through. Keep our eyes on Klein as he nose tags the wall a little bit. As you can see there, Chambers is able to get his car going in the right direction and everything, and it doesn't look like Klein made too much damage, possibly may have just bent up the right front corner of his car a little bit. But tough break for those guys, and you just never know when things like that's going to happen to these guys running these speeds and that close together. Back up to you.
All right, Rich, so thank you very much for the replay there. Multiple car incident off of turn number 2, putting us under yellow flag for the second time tonight. But while we do have a minute here, Todd, as always, we don't get to come over here to SMO nearly enough, and when we do, one of the most familiar names we see up on the sheet here is our good friend, Mr. Andy Margot. Andy, it's Phil from DRTV, buddy. Do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
Andy, you're having a great run out there so far of the number 57. Tell us what the racing out there has been like. It's looked pretty good through this first half.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've just been hanging out in back like I always do.
Now, Andy, we're here tonight, of course, the Racing for the Cure, the 8th annual event here put on by the SMO guys. And you've been here at SMO a long time. Give us some of the background of this event, your history in this event, how you've done as far as race runs, and what an event means like this to you personally and also to the guys at SMO.
Well, I think most of the guys here running have had somebody that's been touched with cancer. So, you know, it means a lot to everybody. We're racing here just to bring awareness to hopefully someday we can get a cure for this deadly disease. And that's what most of us are all doing here. It's just a great bunch of guys. It's a lot of fun being here. I want to thank DRTV and you guys up there in the booth for putting this show on for us. We know you do a really great job.
Well, Andy, it's great to talk to you once again. You know, you guys have really put a good show out here for us through this first half of the race. Are we going to expect more of the same here? Are we going to be able to make this thing on maybe one more pit stop from here?
I think it's going to take 2.
All right, well, yeah, that does make sense. We're getting about 25 laps is my math here on Fuel Bible. So, maybe we do got 2 more stops from here, Andy. We'll let you get back to it. Thanks again for a few words. Always great to talk to you here on DRTV. While I got you here, I know everybody's ducking back on and off pit road. What's the tire wear been like out there, Andy? Everybody out there seems to be content running the outside lane, but certainly that low side, it's an option out there. How much tire wear heat are you seeing when you run that low side?
I think that the low side's going to come in. Later we get in the race there, that low side, you'll see guys jumping down to the bottom. They'll be making it probably 3 wide when we get down near the end here. Tire wear's been good. I've been only taking usually 2 tires when I pit. That's about all you need. Tire wear's real good.
Well, that's certainly good to hear. Well, Andy, great to talk to you here once again. I'm reading over your bio. It says retired and loving it. So, my friend, go out there and enjoy the rest of this evening. Put that 57 up toward victory lane, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here real soon on DRTV. So good luck the rest of the night, Andy, and thanks again for a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's our buddy Andy Margot there, one of the senior members here over here at SMO. Todd, just one of the very many class individuals. Anytime you come over to SMO, the hospitality is so great, so awesome to talk to these guys. And this Andy Margot, he's just another statement there to the SMO guy. They're such a nice, friendly bunch, and I just can't encourage enough to race with those guys.
Yeah, fantastic group of racers over here at SMO Hardcore. These guys always put on one whale of a show here for us on DRTV, and they always never lacks drama here towards the end of these races. There's always 2 and 3 wide, even 4 wide at some of these tracks. So these guys put on one whale of a show, and throughout this whole race, we've seen some good maneuvers, and these guys just practicing, getting ready for those final laps here. So green flag's getting ready to come out. Van is off. He is pulled down onto pit road here tonight. Get ready to go back to green flag racing for the 8th annual cure. Green flag is in the air finally. Green flag at the line there. Flagger is somewhat sleeping. I don't know if he's on some medications, but we'll have to check in with the flagger maybe later on after the race. I'm not sure on these delayed starts. How much of a factor, Phil, do you think that is on these delayed starts of that flagger?
Oh, well, be behind the wheel, and I think you can make a test of it because I think we had this instance to see a night ago. When that flagger holds that green flag for a long time, and you're trying to anticipate that behind the wheel, I mean, you fall asleep on the restart, which I've got pretty real good here lately. It certainly can just certainly stack up your run, stack up the group behind you, and you'd run that risk of being run over. And I know I was run over there last night just about by a certain number 91 car of Todd Stanton. So certainly you got to be awake on these starts, but that flagger, Todd, if he's going to hold that thing late, that can certainly stack up the field and certainly mess up your anticipation as they are racing hard and heavy, too wide for the race lead off of 2.
Yeah, it was too wide there momentarily. Fast Eddie Lee, and that's the reason why we call him Fast Eddie Lee. He made short work of the 49 of Frank Divens. He made himself the new race leader here at the Outward Speedway here with that number 210 machine. Pete Astrop, Viper, the number 24, is sitting in the second spot. Viper able to get one well run after Eddie Lee was down on the bottom side of the speedway. Here comes Pete Astrop to the lead. He's going to get around Eddie Lee.
Yeah, Viper up to the race lead is at number 24. He's had a good car all night long, keeping the fenders on that, keeping that thing out of trouble. That brings Pete up to the race lead. And the number 24, he'll bring Steve Looney alongside. The number 21, he'll move up to the runner-up spot. And a great run, Todd, for the 910. Jamie Tedder, he's found his way to the third spot. He may not be content there. He's peeking to the low side off of turn 4.
Yeah, it's one of them instances of where did the 910 come from, and he's been riding around in the 910, and like I was talking earlier, he was one of them benefactors of the yellow when he missed his pit stall and stopped in the wrong pit stall in that 910 machine. He's able to move himself back up into the third position in contention here for the race lead in that number 910 machine. He's working in lockstep right now with the 21 of Steve Looney, the PA Strop in the 24. He is their current race leader. These guys working on the top side of the speedway as the 210 of Eddie Lee, Fast Eddie Lee, working in the fourth position. He's working on the bottom side of the speedway with the 75 of Jesse Klein.
So as they're working hard and heavy, they're racing for about that fourth position on back. I hear the voice in my ear. Rich Patton's got something to show us here on a DRTV replay. So, Rich, show us what you got.
Yeah, you know, we saw some outstanding driving by Hooper earlier. We're going to keep our eyes on what's going to happen because it happened right in front of him again. I don't know if he's got a target on his back or not. It did not cause a caution, but it's very interesting to watch. We're going to see the 49 of Divens get into Tedder on the outside. That's in the 7, right in front of Hoop. You're going to see him in the 013 there to the right of your screen. We'll go ahead and play this out in slow motion. There's a little bit of contact between the 49 and the 7 as they get into this corner. Go ahead and play this full speed. They make contact right there. That's going to put Tedder out into the wall, slow him up right in front of Hoop. Hoop's able to save on checkup. Look at Tedder save that vehicle. He bounces it off to 028. 7 keeps it straight. Tedder, amazing driving right there in front of Hooper. So right there, those two guys, Hoop and Tedder, those are your two talented drivers tonight for saves. I don't know what to tell you guys. That was amazing. Good driving, guys.
Yeah, stunt driving right there. That's racing for about 13th on back. Those guys are now racing tooth and nail here. You know, rapidly approaching the three-quarter way mark here through this 8th annual Racing for the Cure. Tonight, the Outward Speedway over here for SMO. As we look out to the race leaders, they're almost got a battle there. The 24 of Pete Astrop. He's your current race leader. Pete coming us tonight from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Started online racing in 2003. He's won several championships over here at SMO in Cup, Nationwide, trucks, and late models. He's admin to SMO for a long time on Friday night and a very, very avid guy. Very, very active. Hobby is all about Lonesome Pine Train Club. See him just quoting on that a lot. So that's Viper, Pete Astrop with 24, Todd. Your current race leader. Developing story on the racetrack. I saw the 910 go up in smoke, Todd. He was up against the wall. Not sure if you saw what happened there.
I'm not sure what happened with the 910 of Jamie Tedder up in smoke. I'm not sure. Maybe a motor blown, but no yellow flag. We're still clean and green. The 75 of Jesse Klein is your new race leader with a 210 of Fast Eddie Lee. Third is the 110 of Dennis Chambers. So the Insomniac Motorsports nose to tail, and now they're out in the lead. So top 3 being held by the Insomniac Motorsports clan, the 110, the 210, and the 75. Pete Astrop now working in that 4th spot, but he is under heavy fire, heavy pressure from the 49 of Frank Divens. Divens able to clear Pete Astrop to move to that 4th position in that number 49 machine.
Yeah, Frank's certainly marching forward in the 49. He's going to have a mirror full, or a windshield full, rather, of Insomniac Motorsports, as he's got Dennis Chambers now in his sights there. Frank pulling to the inside of the number 110. That's racing for that 3rd spot. But, Rich, I believe you just found that little nugget I was talking about with the 910 of Jamie Tedder. It's a little hot and hairy racing there. Action. Show us what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It must run in the blood, these guys. Here we go with another Tedder. This time it's going to be Jamie Tedder doing the stunt drive, and we're going to keep our eyes on him in the 9-10, kind of play this out in slow motion. As they get into the corner, it looks like the 5 drifts up. That's going to tag the left rear corner of Jamie Tedder. That's going to send him up in the wall. Again, he's completely sideways, bounces it off the wall. Everybody's able to get around him, and he, too, kept that car straight. I don't know what's going on out there, but these guys are showing some talent tonight, using these walls to keep that car straight, whatever you got to do. But amazing driving by this group tonight. Hats off to Jamie Tedder now.
Yeah, hats off of Jamie Tedder there, Todd. And I'm not sure we're seeing these guys having the rim ride up against that wall to save those things. Maybe, you risk pancaking that right side. Does that constitute, Todd, one of your Toddisms there? Is that like making love to the wall? Was that 9-10?
I don't know how to follow my own comment. Yeah, you could call that making love to the wall. But the wall gave him back. So I don't know. It's just hard to follow that my own comment when it's used against me, Phil. So now I know how you feel, I guess.
Well, Todd, we'll just throw that bone courtesy of a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. How about that, buddy? As we're racing there side by side now up near the race lead. It is Jesse Klein up with the race lead, Eddie Lee, Dennis Chambers, Viper P.A. Strap, and Steve Looney currently rounding out your top 5. Steve having a great run. He's a name we've got very familiar with over the last couple of months. We've seen him many a times on a Saturday night as part of the Premier Cup Series we featured here on DRTV. Steve coming to us from Hueytown, Alabama. Over 10 years of online racing experience, and he's a real-life mini-stock racer at the Sayre Speedway, the Montgomery Motor Speedway, and the Thunderdome in Jasper, Alabama. So that's Steve Looney. I know we've seen him multiple times on a Saturday night, Todd, in that number 121 as part of the Premier Cup Series, and really good to see Steve out there. He's having a great run tonight aboard that 21.
He's indeed having a great run aboard that number 21 machine. Is Steve Looney, I should say, in that 21 machine. He's having a fantastic run. He's just hanging out, waiting for his late race maneuvers in that 21 machine. We've seen it. We've seen him before, Phil, and he'll be there towards the end in that number 21 machine. So we're going to have to see what happens, how this is all going to play out here for the 8th annual Racing for the Cures, brought to you in part by SMO-Hardcore.com. And these guys doing fantastic job of racing. Great saves here all evening long. I mean, we're going to have to give a ton of awards out at the end of this one with people just saving their cars.
It's certainly been some really great driving here. 18 drivers took the green flag here just about a little over an hour ago. Unfortunately, we've seen our good friend Bob Tompkins go by the wayside here, blowing out a clutch after a green flag pit stop. Also, Mike Chevrier, our pole sitter of the 43, he's pulled that thing behind the wall. Mechanical issues there for the 43 will relegate him to a 17th place finish. So 16 drivers left on the racetrack. 14 of those 16 drivers on the lead lap, and we've seen some great racing at the front of the field. Currently paced by Insomniac Motorsports. Jesse Klein, Eddie Lee, Dennis Chambers, your current top 3. Frank Divins, 4th. Steve Looney now 5th. Frank Divins now drop kick back to the 6th spot. Having a great run in that 7th position, the number 5 of Bob Kincaid. He's flying the ship also tonight from Scarborough, Maine, an SMO-Hardcore own, one of the veterans over here, a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. Desert Storm, was online racing now for the last 13 years. He's an avid fisherman, loves being in the outdoors, so that's the number 5 from Scarborough, Maine. Bob Kincaid having a great run aboard that number 5, who's currently, I believe, Todd, positioned himself in position number 5 down the backstretch.
Yeah, he is currently in position number 5. I was watching the 110 of Dennis Chambers. You've seen him on the screen. I believe you've seen him on the screen. He looks like he threw an anchor out the back of his car. It is because he almost did. He almost had a bad night. He was flirting with the outside wall. He wasn't making love. He was flirting with the outside wall with that 110. He was on the edge of disaster as he was up into the outside wall, and it just slowed him down so much in that 110 machine. He was scraping all the way through the corner. Nice job by the 110 of Dennis Chambers not to go back down into traffic. He just stayed alongside the wall, let all the cars clear, and he's back at the tail end of the pack here, Phil. So with that 110 machine in 10th. So he lost many positions, but he's still not out of this one. big wreck into the corner, and wow is all I got to say. And just Pete Astrop in the 24 machine. He's no longer. He's in a subcompact car. He's in one of them Chevy Chevettes. That number 24. It's just he has been up on all angles of that 24. There was other ones flipping upside down. What a replay Rich is going to have in queue for you guys out in YouTube land. And tough break for Pete Astrop, the 210 of Eddie Lee. I believe the 75 machine also involved, the Jesse Klein. There was quite a few cars involved in that one, Phil.
Yeah, that certainly tore up an awful lot of race cars. And I apologize. I think I was on the. I think I lost communication with you guys for a minute, but there was certainly contact there. The 24 and the 210 of Eddie Lee making hard contact. Eddie's night looks to be over aboard that number 210. He had a vicious hit there, racing up alongside Pete Astrop for the race lead. And, they were racing hard and heavy, Todd. We've seen it here all night long. And unfortunately for these guys, all tore up. And that's going to put guys like Eddie Lee and I think Jesse Klein as well. He got a savagely hard hit in the 75. That may put speed bumps here in the rest of their evening.
Yeah, and that's a tough break for those guys. The Insomniac Motorsports guys were showing some muscle up there up front in those top three positions. Dennis Chambers flirted with the wall. The 210 of Eddie Lee hard into the outside wall, hollered into some other cars, and that's going to end Eddie Lee's night. And like you said, Jesse Klein viciously had a vicious hit out there with that 75 machine. Going to have to see if he's going to be able to recoup from that. But our race leader, after all that was said and done, Dick Jordan made it through in that 61 machine. Kincaid was second, Looney was third, and Dennis Chambers, after his flirtation with the wall in that 110 machine, he was able to make it through that wreck in that fourth position. But I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who has the replay queued up and ready.
Yeah, here we go. We're going to keep our eyes on the 210 of Fast Eddie Lee. He's going for the lead. He's dealing with Pete down on the low side in that 24. Looks like a little bit of contact's going to go on between Eddie Lee and Klein in the 75. As they get down to go into this corner, a little bit of a bump draft may have gone wrong. That's going to send Eddie Lee down into the right rear quarter panel of Pete. That's going to send Pete up and Eddie up to the wall right in front of Jesse Klein. Next thing you know, we've got cars in the air. There you can see it looks like Divins also takes up Weedy, I believe, right on the left of your screen. We'll go ahead and play this out. Meanwhile, Eddie is door surfing. He gets slammed by Rex Adams. Rex Adams is going to also hit Pete. Next thing you know, we've got Eddie Lee doing some major turtle surfing right there. Perfect example of a turtle. You put a turtle on his back, he can't get over, and that's exactly what Eddie Lee was doing. He finally bounces it back onto four tires. A bunch of cars in this one, guys, and we saw some air, we saw some door surfing, roof surfing, and turtle action. Back up to you.
All right, guys, back on the air. I don't know how to follow that, Todd. Once again, we got a Richism, a little turtle, but a little turtle bouncing, and unfortunately, the wrong end of a turtle bouncing there looked to be the number 210 of Eddie Lee. Let's see if Eddie still has his ears on. Eddie, my friend, it's Phil from DRTV, buddy. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Man, Eddie, you had a terrific run going on up there in that number 210. I think Rich came out with the bouncing turtle there for that number 210. Unfortunate hard hit. You had a good run going, man. What was the racing like out there for you?
Oh, the racing was pretty good. It's just playing the strategy, just pacing it along, and a bad bump by my teammate. Not much you can do about it at that point.
Yeah, I don't know if it was as much the bump draft from a teammate. It looks like you guys just real close quarters there, you and Jesse, and it looks like a Viper and the 24. You guys were certainly just all racing for the same piece of real estate, so I don't know if that was a bad bump or whatnot, but it certainly made for some great pictures there, Eddie, some really, really good racing. And, of course, you come from the Insomniac Motorsports clan, and sure, you guys, you got to all be thrilled to be a part of like this 8th annual Racing for the Cure being done by the SMO-Hardcore guys. Just how great is it for you guys from Insomniac to come out here and support an event like this? Because it's certainly been cool for all of us to be a part of.
Well, it's great. I love working with SMO. They were one of the very first leagues that believed in us when we opened up in the community last July. I love coming back and doing events with them like this. I love putting on a good show. I'm glad we had decent equipment to bring.
Well, you guys certainly made a good run of it tonight. I think Jesse's still out there. I know Dennis has had a good run of the 110 as well, Eddie. So we'll let you get back to it, let you root on your teammates. But, man, it's tough with hockey here out here so early. Fast Eddie Lee. Congratulations on a good run, Eddie. I hate to see you tore up so soon, but if I know any better, we'll be talking to you here again real soon here on DRTV in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you, guys.
All right, Fast Eddie Lee, Todd, as we've coined him up here in the booth. You know, unfortunately for Eddie, had a great run up there racing for the race lead, and unfortunately we've had our bouncing Super Turtle, Todd. I'm not exactly sure how to follow that one.
Yeah, turtles don't bounce. I'm still saying that. I was saying that on Whisper to you guys there, but I don't think turtles bounce. Maybe they do. That might have to be something. Rich, if you find a turtle down there in Florida, see if they bounce. Will you?
I'm going to have to look into that.
All right, well, as Rich Patton investigates the bounciness of turtles, not sure they have that kind of dexterity or not. I guess we'll be having to find out. Maybe we get that, you know, back in the day, you know, you watch ESPN, you had Cooking with Benny. Maybe we could have a segment called, like, Science with Rich or something, and we investigate things like the bouncing turtle or whatever great goofy stuff he has. We kid up here in the DRTV booth, the 8th annual Racing for the Cure done by SMO-Hardcore. The Outward Speedway tonight, a beautifully prepared 2-mile hybrid type oval. It's got characteristics of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Michigan Speedway, and also, and by the looks of it, a little bit of this throw in, not quite the type of racing, but a characteristic of the shape of a Darlington Speedway. So certainly been a unique flavor here tonight. The banking 28 degrees in the corners, 5 degrees down the straightaways, and Todd Stanton, we've seen these guys drafting here all night long with some terrific hot speeds, and we're 88 laps up on the board. We got a little over 30 more laps to go. One more pit stop from here. I think we're going to see this wick light up once again.
Yeah, I believe we're going to see that, Phil. I believe we're going to see 3-wide racing here momentarily. You're seeing some shades of it here early on in the going. Frank Gibbons not afraid to put it 3-wide in the middle of the group there in that 49 machine. We're going to have to see if he is able to recoup and recover. Hopefully he didn't get any damage in that one. I did not get to see the full length of the replay, but I did see a lot of cars involved. But we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. This time the flagger's not sleeping. We're back to green flag racing before I even can say green. So we're back to green flag racing down into corner number 1. Kincaid is your current race leader into 1. Steve Looney is running second. Third is the 110 of Dennis Chambers. The 61 of Dick Jordan running in 4th. 5th is the 910 of Jamie Teller. Bill Salo is 6th. 7th, Frank Divins. 8th, Rex Adams back on the lead lap. 9th is the number 7 of Kenny Tenner. Matt Wiedemeyer is 10th in the 76. Monte Keller, Pete Astraub, Andy Margot, Jesse Klein, Charles Hooper, Eddie Lee is out, Mike Chevier, and Bob Tompkins Sr. rounds out your field. It looks like these guys starting to move up through the field, starting to get out of line just a little bit there. There's a 110 of Dennis Chambers running in that 3rd spot. The 910 of Jamie Tedder is 4th. 5th is Bill Salo. So these guys staying single file. I've seen a car jump out of line, and that was the 61 of Dick Jordan. Jordan trying to get the bottom side working, but nobody goes with him down on the bottom side, Phil.
No, RC just kind of come out of line there in the number 61, and he just fell all the way back to the end of the line, that being Dick Jordan aboard that number 61 from Heinsberg, Vermont. He's been sim racing since late in the NASCAR Racing 2002 days. Started online a year or so later after getting this game NR 2003. Been in numerous leagues over the year and found a home at SMO-Hardcore many years ago, about 4 or 5 years. And he said, you can't make a living at this, but I have to race when I can, which means I often don't get to the track as much as I would like, but love every minute of it. So great to see guys like RC, Dick Jordan out here. Great to have him aboard as part of this SMO Racing for the Cure. We get over here to the SMO. We like to highlight as many guys as we can because we certainly do not see these guys nearly enough. And thankfully, Todd, we're going to see a whole lot of SMO here over the next couple of months. We'll be back here just about a month from now on June the 25th. The Hawk Tribute Race. Cannot wait to come back over here. It's always a first-class group and a great night. And a big hats off here as we come to SMO tonight, this 8th annual Racing for the Cure event. An awesome event to be a part of. So just thankful and honored to be a part of it here. Just a small fractionless event on the DRL network. And the racing certainly lived up to it, Todd. So far in this run here, after this restart, everybody glued up to the high side. How many laps are we going to wait until these guys go mixing up back too wide?
Yeah, these guys look a little bit gun-shy here after this initial restart. You guys, we have 28 laps to go here. in the Racing for the Cure race here, sponsored by SMO-Hardcore Racing. And these guys looking a little gun shy, Phil, right now, just running the top side. They don't want to move out of the line here. I think they're trying to save their stuff. I'm thinking that wreck may have calmed down some of these guys here, and maybe they're just going to stay here in line. But we're still looking at these guys single file down the back straightaway. These guys looking to jump out of line. They're starting to get a little bit antsy there, Phil, down the back straightaway here into turn number 3.
Yeah, they're getting a little antsy, as you said. They're just ducking out, maybe feeling around where that run is going to be, and they fall back in line in a single file formation around this 2-mile outward speedway, all chasing our race leader, the number 5 Scarborough Maine's Bob Kincaid. Steve Looney right there in that second spot aboard that white number 21 Insomniac Motorsports teammate. Dennis Chambers, the number 110. Jamie Tedder currently in the 4th spot aboard the 910. And Bill Salo, the number 68, having a great run in his Ford out there tonight in that 5th spot, single file. 94 of 120 laps on the board, Todd. We had just about 27, 28 laps left when the green flag came out. Do you think anybody from here could maybe clutch enough, maybe save enough fuel to make it from here on gas mileage?
I don't think so, but I've been proved once wrong quite a few times, more often than not. But I don't think they can make it the rest of the way here, even if they're clutching it. I just don't think you can save that much. I think they're going to have to take one tire or at least one more pit stop, and I think you may see maybe a 2-tire pit stop or a no-tire pit stop, for that matter, when these guys come down pit road.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we're approaching the century mark here in this Racing for a Cure. 95 of 120 laps up on the board. So we've seen 2-wide racing here all night long at this 2-mile outward speedway. Well, the name of the game right now, single file racing. Who's going to have enough car? Are these guys maybe jockeying for a position, thinking about maybe that last-minute pit stop here, Todd? Now, I got another interesting scenario here as we talk about gas mileage. Now, a little less than 25 laps to go in this thing. These guys may be able to make it from here, from a one more pit stop here. So, do you think anybody may think in the line of short pitting here? Do you think short pitting comes into effect at a place like Outward Speedway?
Short pitting could, if you have the help from another partner out there to draft around it, you probably could short pit. I'm more of a not to short pit. I'm against short pitting a lot of the times because sometimes things happen, especially this late in the going. I may short pit early on in the going, Phil, but right now, short pitting it could hurt you. It could make you the winner of this race.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you. I don't know if I would. I'm one of those guys who I'm going to run that thing absolutely just empty. And, I've done that on the wrong end more times than I can shake a stick at and just lost many a race doing that. But I think at this place here tonight, 14 drivers still in touch with that lead pack, or 13 drivers with the lead pack. I think if you're going to short pit, you're going to need at least 2 or 3 guys to come down there with you. Not thinking I want to make that gamble of breaking out from that lead pack is all still chasing Bob Kincaid off of turn number 4, going to put 98 laps up on the board, this time by 120 laps, the big main event distance tonight here for the SMO guys, the Outward Speedway, the 8th annual Racing for a Cure. We got to do something to beat this shredded disease, guys. Cancer has touched every one of our lives in some shape or form at one time or another, and raising all the awareness and all the dollars we can to beat this terrible disease. And it's a killer. We really got to get rid of this disease, get it under control. And while we have a minute here, as these guys are single file, this shy of the century mark up on the board, just want to take a moment to say hi to our buddy Robert Baucom out there. I know his mom was diagnosed here recently with cancer herself, and she's had quite the battle over here over the last 7 to 10 days. So our thoughts with the Baucom family. We're certainly all thinking of you, Robert, a good friend to us here at DRTV and all we do. So, Robert, our thoughts are what you hear is Todd. We focus back on the Speedway, but we really got to get a handle on this cancer disease. I think it's touched your life, my life. I know it's touched Rich's life. Everybody I think out there in the world today has been touched in one shape or another, and we're just a small part of this tonight. All we can do to raise awareness to beat this disease, I think we all got to rise up and do just that.
Yeah, I agree. This is just one of the many events that raise awareness and raise stuff that we really need to beat this disease. And cancer is one of those things that has touched lives of just about everybody that I know, even for a fact. I've had a father that passed away from lymphoma and early when I was 16 years old. So I've been through it. I've been through numerous different cancer things. He had a twin brother too. So it's one of those things, Phil. It's just it's hard to talk about. But we need to beat this. We need everybody to get on the same wagon, and I know there's got to be a cure out there somewhere.
Yeah, well, all we can do, you can go to places like the Susan G. Komen Foundation there and raise money, stand up to cancer. One of the many other foundations out there is to stand up and shout to cancer. There's so many different ones out there. So all we can do to raise awareness to beat this disease, do that here as we celebrate here tonight what these guys at SMO are doing, raising awareness to beat this disease, as they're now 100 laps up on the board, 102 when they hit the line officially. Still all chasing the number 5 of Bob Kincaid. Scarborough main zone is pacing them out there with the race lead. Everybody glued, Todd, up to the top side. Steve Looney's been right there in the tire tracks. It's been Dennis Chambers in that number 110. He's been that car wanting to dive on a line, maybe try to make something happen, but seems like he does not quite have the help to pull that maneuver off.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of help from his Insomniac teammates being the Fast Eddie Lee's out of this event. The 75 of Jesse Klein is heavily damaged. He is off the lead pack. So he's going to have to find some new partners, and that's one of those things, Phil, where you have to find partners out there on the speedway. Your Insomniac Motorsports guys are gone, and it's unfortunate that they are, but now he has to figure out who he's going to team up with or who he's going to use to get to the front in that 110 machine. But right now, comfortable riding around in that third spot is the 110 of Dennis Chambers. Kincaid still leading, Steve Looney in that second spot. Fourth, still Jamie Tedder, Bill Salo still fifth. Frank Divins still running sixth. These guys just riding around. It does not look like they're going to jump out of line here. I think they're waiting for this last green flag pit stop, Phil.
Yeah, that's something I just wanted to make mention to here, is that last green flag pit stop is looming. And as we ride single file here and nobody really wanting to peek out of line, I want to ask our buddy Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, Rich, how much do you think that last pit stop is in the back of these guys' minds? Because it's going to certainly be the money stop here, the last one of the night, and these guys got all the pressure on. What do you think these guys are thinking here?
I think that's exactly what's happening. Everybody is waiting for the car in front of them to see when they're going to go in. Nobody wants to go in there and be all alone. You're going to have to go into this final pit stop, which they are in the field window, with some friends. And I think, whoever, as we saw there's a car down on the apron already. There's already some people thinking about going to the pits. You're going to have to go in there with friends, because you're going to need those friends to get around anybody else that didn't go with you before. So it's a chess game right now. It's a strategy, and I think everybody's holding out to see who's going to make the first step. And then I firmly believe once you see one go, everybody's going to follow suit.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. As they watch them come off turn number 4 now, they'll put 105 laps up on the board this time around as they hit the start-finish line, which is offset down turn number 1. It's still the 5 car of Bob Kincaid, Steve Looney right there in that second spot with Dennis Chambers, Jamie Tedder, Bill Salo, your current top 5. 6 through 10, Frank Divins, Kenny Tedder, Charles Hooper, Andy Margot, RC Dick Jordan. He's currently 10th. 11th is Matt Wiedemeyer. 12th, Monty Keller. He's out there. He's still on that lead pack. 13th off that lead group is Jesse Klein. We've seen him involved in a wreck here just a little while ago. He's well off the field. Last car on the speedway, the number 24 of the Viper, P.H. Drop. He's 2 laps in the rears. I believe he's been on and off pit road for the final time tonight. 4 drivers retired from the event, 15th through 18th. Rex Adams, Eddie Lee, Mike Chevrier, who was our pole sitter, and our good friend Bob Tompkins Sr. was on the racetrack tonight. He finished up 18th. A clutch issue there on the first round of green flag pit stops just past lap 25. That is a quick full field rundown sponsored by the DRL Network. Find us at drlnetwork.com. Check out our event package page. Get the event requests in. Get your league on DRTV. drlnetwork.com. Custom fit event packages to custom fit all your league's needs. Get Rich, Todd, and myself over to your place and have a great event, just like they're putting out here tonight at the Outward Speedway. The SMO-Hardcore guys, the 8th annual Racing for the Cure, and Todd Stanton. We've got our eyes to pit road, the final pit stop of the night. We've seen pitting out of the top 3. So, Todd, what do you got from pit road?
Yeah, Dennis Chambers coming down. He was one of the only guys to come down. There's a couple of guys that came down, the 7 of Kenny Tedder, and I believe it was the 013 of Hooper. He came down pit road. Right side tires, the call for the 110 of Dennis Chambers. Fuel, and he's down in the way, Phil, but some of the guys that pitted out of that lead pack were quite a ways behind the 110 of Dennis Chambers. It might be costly not being paired up with somebody.
Yeah, and I was down to the 7 pit of Kenny Tedder. He pitted all by his lonesome, as you said, Todd. It looks like just a gas and go for the 7. He tried to make all the ground he can, but it was certainly a slow pit stop there as we look back toward pit road, Todd. I'm expecting more guys. The They'll be diving on off here any second now.
Yeah, some more guys should be coming down pit road here momentarily. These guys starting to single file it out. They've been pretty much single file this whole run, but they're making sure that they have everybody up. It looks like the pack is starting to catch the 75 of Jesse Klein and the 110 of Dennis Chambers, so that shows you how fast this pack is moving around the speedway. They're going to make short work of Jesse Klein and the 110 of Dennis Chambers. They're going to both go down a lap, but it will only stay a little bit, though. They're good to the end, and we're going to have to see what happens with these guys out there on the speedway. Dennis Chambers is, like you said, one lap down, but these other guys still have to pit. It looks like the 49 of Frank Divins. I hear in race communications that Frank Divins coming down pit road. Looks like the 028 of Monte Keller also coming down pit road. We're going to have to see how this goes. Kincaid also coming down pit road.
Yeah, the race leader, the number 5, Bob Kincaid, he's turned it down to the left side, hard on the brakes, down to 60 miles per hour at the line there at the entrance to pit road. Bob Kincaid, the SMO Racing Ford, racing for the cure down pit road. We'll see what he will do. Will it be 2 tires? Will it be 4? Will it be no tires? We've already seen gassing goes. What will the number 5 machine from Scarborough, Maine? He's on the sign. It's going to be left side tires of Bob Kincaid, Todd. Left sides, 1 can of fuel. Bob Kincaid, the race leader, he's down and away.
Frank Divins makes a mistake. He drives through his pit stall there, has to back up. Now he's got full service there. He had right side tires. He's down and away, but he's going to lose a couple of positions on that pit stop. A couple seconds means a lot of time on the track when you're on pit road, Phil.
No, it certainly does. And now with 10 laps remaining left on the board, we turn our attention back to the race leaders, Steve Looney and Jamie Tedder. Those guys have yet found their way to pit road as they work their way off of turn number 4, or number 2 rather, this time around. We'll see if the 21, the 910, maybe the 68 of Bill Salo, he's also there in a 3-car draft. Will they all dive toward pit road? The answer right now, we see through turns number 3 and 4, they hug the low side. Looks like they're on the binders. Jamie Tedder's on the brakes, Salo on the brakes, and also the Looney machine, the 21 on the brakes, almost making contact with the end of that pit wall, getting down to 60 miles per hour. I'm down to the Jamie Tedder pit. I was down here a little while ago. We seen Jamie overshoot pit road or stop short, got boxed in, could not get service to his machine. We'll see if the 910 does not nail this money pit stop here with less than 10 laps to go. Jamie on the sign absolutely perfectly. 2 left side tires, Todd. 1 can of fuel. Jamie Tedder, tires down, fuel in. 910 is down and away.
Right side tires to call on the number 21 of Steve Looney. He is down and away. He's going to be able to get out in front of the 910 of Jamie Tedder.
Yeah, 2 left side tires for the 68 of Bill Salo. Looks like also 2 left sides for RC Dick Jordy, the number 61. Those guys, Todd, full of fuel, are down and away.
Yeah, indeed, a full field. It looks like it's going to revert, and we're waiting for scoring and time to catch up after all these green flag pit stops are complete. I'm almost willing to bet that the 110 of Dennis Chambers is going to be your leader. I may be going off on a limb here on that 110 machine. It could be Looney and Tedder actually aboard the 910 and the 21 machine. They had a really, really good pit stop. We'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, waiting for timing and scoring to cycle back on through, but I think you're going to see those 2 guys have a nice little lead here on the 110 of Dennis Chambers. These guys left pit road. Now 113 laps going up on the board, and is in fact Steve Looney, the number 21 with the race lead. A 2-second lead there. Him and Jamie Tedder out over 3rd place Dennis Chambers, Bob Kincaid, Frank Divins, Andy Margot, Bill Salo. That's a 5-car second pack there, Todd. If they all get in line here with 7 laps to go, could they chase down these top 2?
Yeah, they're all by themselves, and they're coming at a good clip there. Is that second pack? Steve Looney and Jamie Tedder all by themselves, so they're gonna be coming up on them real quick. And I'm just looking; it was 2.7 seconds. Now we're coming to the line here with 6 laps to go, and it's already down to 2.2. So they're a half a second a lap, Phil. They're going to catch them, and they're going to catch them in a good win here.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. Those 2 guys trying to drive away at the front of the field. I see lap traffic up ahead, pulling down alongside. Not sure they're going to pick up a 3rd car, which could probably be ultra beneficial from here. It's the 24, Pete Astrop. Pete pulled down out of the way. Pete currently out there 1 lap down in that 14th position. Top 2 guys pulling away, Todd. 5 laps to go at the line. Can they hold off that charging second pack? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and find out as these guys still trying to charge up to the 1.7 seconds now. A little bit better over half a second this time. It's 0.77 seconds is what they gained on that time. They're going to catch them, Phil. It's 5 laps to go, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be right here in the drafting of the 9, 10, and the 21 of Steve Looney here really, really quick.
Now, if you're those top 2 guys out front, Todd, and you see this big pack of 5 cars coming, what kind of things can you do to play defense and maybe maintain your momentum if you're the Steve Looney machine or even Jamie Taylor at 9-10? What kind of things can you do to keep that pack behind you? Because they're going to be coming with a tremendous head of steam.
It's going to be difficult. You're going to have to fan out and try to keep this pack behind them, but it's just going to be difficult. The track's pretty wide to even keep these guys behind them. You might be better off just letting them go and then trying to get a run back on them. I can't give out many of my secrets, Phil, because I'm still racing in the NASCAR 2003 community of how I would play this one out. But it's going to be hard to see them fan out. It's just going to be hard to see them be able to pull that off.
Well, the has-been Todd Stanton keeping his cards close to his vest tonight. Don't want to give up any of those tricks for the trade. As we say here, we all try to be active racers in this community when we're not up here in the booth. And a great event here tonight, this 8th annual Racing for the Cure for SMO at the Outward Speedway. Now less than 4 laps to go, chasing the race leaders Steve Looney and Jamie Tedder. But that second pack, they are there. They are in that draft under a second and charging fast. The 110 of Dennis Chambers. He has help from his Insomniac teammate, the 75 Jesse Klein, who's a lap down. He has been pushing him, Todd, all the way there. Then you got Bob Kincaid, Andy Margot, all lined up behind him. They are on that lead pack. Will they ride in line? Will they make a maneuver for the race lead? They are single file into turn 3.
Here comes Dennis Chambers, dives down to the bottom in that 110 machine, and he disappears. Aliens have took the 110 of Dennis Chambers as he was making a move.
Whoa, could this be an alien invasion, Todd? Do we have another alien invasion there? And I think we do, because the Dennis Chambers machine is just gone. He was making a race for the race lead, and fortunately, Todd, for Dennis, it looks like he's gone. He's no longer a factor in this thing. We've seen all the bizarre things we've seen here all night long. What many more bizarre things are we going to see? We're going to have 2 laps to go at the line.
Yeah, that momentum has disappeared as 110 of Dennis Chambers had all kinds of momentum, and when he disappeared, and the aliens just went zip, zip, and zapped him up, and he was gone, and all that momentum just killed the momentum of all those guys behind him. So Steve Looney is looking up in his mirror, and now it's a little bit easier without that momentum.
Yeah, lost all that momentum, and that was a big help and assist there to Steve Looney and to Jamie Tedder here, Todd, as they're going to take the white flag this time by as they come off of turn number 4. Flagger has the white flag in hand. If you're Jamie Tedder, Todd, what can you do to make that car fast to get around that Steve Looney machine? What can Steve do to keep behind him? We'll find out there in turn 1.
There's a move on for second here. The 5 of Kincaid down to the bottom side. He's going to try to pull up even with the 21 of Steve Looney. Tedder stuck right on the rear bumper of the 21 of Looney. We're going to have to see side by side down the back straightaway. Kincaid pulling up alongside of the 21 once again. Steve Looney here in the 3.
Side by side for the race lead off of turn number 3. Checkered flag's going to be in the air. Steve Looney in the outside lane. Bob Kincaid, the number 5. He's going to peek out. Looks like he may have enough to clear for the run, Todd. Down the front straightaway, charging to the checkered flag. It's going to be Bob Kincaid. He's going to win the SMO-Hardcore 8th annual Racing for the Cure.
Yeah, Bob Kincaid's going to pick up the win. Andy Margot comes out of nowhere and finishes second in that 57 machine. Steve Looney drops to 3rd. Jamie Tedder to 4th, and Frank Divins is 5th. Wow, what a race there, Phil.
Oh, fantastic finish. Just giving these guys a shout-out down in the race channel. A fantastic finish. What more can we ask for here for a great event, raising awareness for cancer? This 8th annual Racing for the Cure done by SMO, and what better way to finish this thing? A tremendous sprint to the end there for the checkered flag, and it's Bob Kincaid, the number 5, able to take down the win. He'll be the winner of the 2016 installment of the Race for the Cure. He'll find the 5 car into victory lane. A great run for our friend Andy Margot. He'll finish up in the 2nd spot, and also a great run. Came a little bit short. He had to lead at the white flag, but Steve Looney, Todd, he'll finish up in the 3rd spot. Let's see if we can't get these guys screened out, Todd, but an incredible finish right there to the end.
Yeah, incredible finish there. And it's one of those things. Kincaid made a last-minute move down to the bottom side. He had some help from the number 75 of Jesse Klein and the 57 of Andy Margot. Those guys working on the bottom side of the speedway, and Steve Looney and Jamie Tedder worked pretty well together, but they just didn't have enough as the numbers outweighed them on the bottom side of the speedway. Great, fantastic finish there. Kincaid coming home with a win. Like I said, Margot comes out of nowhere in that 57 machine. He said he was riding around, and he's going to pull off a second-place finish here tonight. Fantastic showing for all these drivers. Hats off to all these drivers, I have to say. SMO-Hardcore and the Insomniac guys were here also. Hats off to all these guys. Fantastic showing, fantastic finish, and fantastic racing all evening long.
All right, so we'll see if we can't get our top three into up here in the booth as we customarily do. Let's see, we've got Bob Kincaid, the race winner. Andy Margot on the runner-up tonight, and let's see if we can't get over the third-place finisher, Mr. Steve Looney, in that number 20. Let's see if we can't move him to the channel. Steve, it's Phil from DRTV in the booth here, buddy. Do you have a copy? What a great finish.
Hey, Phil. How you doing?
We're doing great, my friend. You had the lead there at the white flag in the catbird seat. I'm sure you were playing defense there. Tell us about that run to the finish. That was spectacular.
I'm just playing defense as much as I can, but me and Jamie were sitting ducks. We tried pitting late, and they had a head of steam coming at us. I think they had 4 or 5 cars lined up against our 2, so wasn't much we could do. We tried our best.
No, you certainly did,
Bob
Steve.
did a great job.
Oh, yeah, you guys all did a fantastic job. What a great finish there. Bob making that move to the low side. Just had enough head of steam there on the low side to just outdrive you guys to the checkered flag. But, Steve, you had a great run of it here tonight. Nothing to shake a stick at here, finishing up in the 3rd spot. And I'm sure you were just as honored as the rest of us were here tonight to be a part of the 8th Annual Race for the Cure. I know you're one of the very active guys over here at SMO. What does an event like this mean to these guys?
Well, it means a lot. Just being able to give back to a cause that means so much to us. It means a lot. That's why I like these guys.
Certainly a first-class group. Can't not encourage anybody enough looking for a league to race. SMO-Hardcore.com is how to find them. And, Steve, as always, it's great to talk to you up here in the booth. Congratulations on a 3rd-place finish. I want to give you the microphone one more time. The floor is all yours. I want you to give a shout to all your friends out there, your sponsors. Give a shout to whoever you'd like, friend. The microphone is all yours.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Jamie and Hopper and everybody that's putting this on and doing this for a worthy cause. We appreciate y'all. Jamie gave me a pretty good push, tried his best. So I appreciate it.
All right, well, that's Steve Looney. He finished up in that 3rd spot tonight. Congratulations, Steve, on a really, really great run. And just real thrilled to see a guy like Steve Looney, Todd, finish up on the podium here tonight. But I know another guy, Todd, who's probably really, really excited to finish up on that 2nd spot. We talked to him here a little while ago, and that's Andy Margot in the 57. So, Todd, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, and we get to talk to him again. Andy Margot here in 2nd place. Andy, great run. It's one of those things that I was quoted as saying is, where did you come from? Great finish there, great pit stop, and you got with the pack there. It was a great finish for you. Tell us a little bit about that ending there. You had a 5-car draft there, and you were chasing down the leaders there. Did you have anything? Was your plan just to stay in line and push Kincaid there?
Yeah, Todd, the thing is, Kincaid's one of my teammates, and you're going to find out when you talk to him. He lost his mom last month to cancer. And him and our plan was, and I told you earlier, was just to hang out in the back early in the race. And then we were going to wait and see how things shook out. And then we weren't going to make our move towards that until after we got that last pit stop, and that's the way it worked out. We got behind him, and the guys we just pushed them to the win. I'll tell you what, when we crossed the line, I swear guys had tears in their eyes. They were really so happy for Bob. I painted that car for him. It's called Flower Power. His mother loved flowers, so we got flowers all over it. But yeah, that was our deal, was to wait towards the end and then go for it.
Oh, that was a fantastic maneuver by you guys. Fantastic that you guys pushed Bob there to the win there, Andy. It just goes to show you how great and how much of a tight knit group you guys over here at the SMO Hardcore Racing League here. And um, tell us a little bit, Andy, about getting involved maybe in SMO. I know you're a longtime member over here. I've raced with you a couple times on the dirt. I know you're an avid dirt fanatic just like I am, but. Tell us a little bit about how maybe even getting involved in SMO hardcore racing. I know you're an avid guy over here, so tell us a little bit about how to get involved, maybe.
Yeah, well, the website is SMO-Hardcore.com. We also have a Facebook page. Anybody can put up SMO Hardcore, they'll find it. Yeah, this is a great bunch of guys over here. It's all about fun, friendships, clean racing, and we just have a good time. Everybody just enjoys it. Great bunch of guys, and my teammates are a great bunch of guys too. Mike Chevrolet, Bill Sallow, RC Jordan, of course Bob Kincaid. That's our teammates. We're Hard Charger Racing, and they're a great bunch too.
Well, Andy, I'm going to give you the microphone. I know you thank some people there. I'm going to give you the microphone one last time. Thank whoever else you would like to thank here, and any other shout outs you have.
Okay, I want to thank definitely SMO Hardcore, Jamie, who works so hard to put this thing on every year. He really works hard. We really appreciate what Jamie Tedder does for the league. I want to thank Rich, Todd, and Phil, DRTV, for once again putting the show on. And like I said, for Bob to win, that was great. And we told the guys early on, it wasn't about who wins. It was about trying to beat this disease called cancer. That's what this was all about, to bring awareness to fighting cancer. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks a lot, Andy. It's a great thing that you guys do over here for this Racing for a Cure. And I know cancer it's one of them devastating diseases. It's hit home for me many of times. So I'm glad that you guys can reach out and do this kind of stuff. And congratulations again on your second place finish.
Thank you.
All right, that's our runner-up finisher, Mr. Andy Margot. But I'm going to throw it down to victory lane to our buddy, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. I know he's caught up with a very emotional victory lane down there. And our race winner, the number 5, Mr. Bob Kincaid. So, Rich, down to you to victory lane.
Yeah, I made my way down here to victory lane. I'm standing down here next to the Flower Power car number 5 itself. Bob Kincaid, congratulations today on your victory. What an amazing finish and race, man.
Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. Thank you guys for putting on this race. It's special thanks to SMO. I got to thank Andy Margot for painting this car up as a tribute to my mom. We lost my mom, Patricia Kincaid, exactly 1 month, 3 days ago to cancer, ovarian cancer. I was just proud to be out here with friends, and it was important to be out here tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
No, Bob. It's perfectly understandable, man. We know that this cause for this race touches you very personally and very recently, and hats off and condolences from the entire DRTV crew. And what a way to make the best out of what you can by winning this event tonight for the Cure. You guys racing for the Cure tonight, and you most recently having this affecting your family. To win it just must be exhilarating. I know it's a very emotional time for you, but it's got to be a happy emotional time as well, Bob.
Very much so. I'm glad we finished on a straightaway, because the tears in my eyes, I couldn't see the finish line. And cancer touches us all, and it's a great cause that SMO does here. I appreciate you guys putting this on for us. And it's great to be here with friends like the ones I have at SMO. I'll remember this race for the rest of my life.
I believe you will, Bob. I do have to ask you though, as we were getting down in the final laps and we had 2 cars way out in front of that 5-car pack you were involved in, you guys caught up with those 2 leaders, and the next thing you know, your pack leader drops out. What was going through your mind?
the whole race, I was just trying not to be the one to ruin a race for a lot of people. Winning this thing was the farthest thing from my mind. I obviously saw that it hurt the 75, and all of a sudden the drafting partner wasn't there. Steve Looney is out there, and he's a phenomenal driver. And, at Andy Margot, a teammate behind me, and thanks to 49 and 75, that it just worked out that way. And I never thought anything until the end, and even then I had to wonder if it was really going to happen.
I hear that, Bob. Well, I'm here to tell you that it really happened. I'm going to congratulate you one more time for this win, for an outstanding finish and an outstanding race. Hats off to you, buddy. And we're going to give the mic to you and give you the floor for anybody you need to, thank for getting you here, and whatever else you need to say, buddy. The floor is all yours.
Well, again, I want to thank you guys for putting on this race. You do a fantastic job, and it's an honor to be here. And absolutely, SMO, thank you to all the admins, Jamie, Andy, Bill, Mike, Viper, all the hard work they put into this league, and it's really appreciated. I love you, Mom. This one's for you. And Tim, and my brother Tim, and sister Wendy, and my dad. Cherish this one, and I love you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, Bob. Well, before we let you go and let you get back to celebrating with your crew and family, DRTV just wants to let you know that we're going to get you a DRTV copy DVD of this event for you. So I'll get in touch with you a little bit later on where to ship it to or whatever, but we'll make you up a DVD and make sure we get it sent to you, buddy. And congratulations one more time.
Thank you guys again one more time. Thank you so much.
All right, well, there you have it, guys. Your race winner today, back up in the booth. What a race. Unbelievable finish, guys.
No, incredible race indeed, Todd, and we're here for an incredible cause tonight. Racing for the Cure, the 8th annual. These guys at SMO did a bang-up job for it, and what more can you say? Just an emotional victory lane, and it's certainly a feel-good story to see a guy like Bob Kincaid, in victory lane. You could hear the emotion in his voice. It's still real raw, and I think you couldn't ask for a better winner tonight, and just so excited for him to just have this to hold on to for a long time.
Yeah, really excited for Bob Kincaid to win this race tonight. It was an emotional victory lane, as you said, Phil, and my condolences to Bob Kincaid and his whole family there. It's one of those diseases that it has no... it's hard for me to even talk about it. So, it's one of those diseases that just picks whoever it wants to and just goes right at them, and it don't matter who you are, and... I appreciate everything that these guys do over at SMO. I really do. These great bunch of guys, and it was a great broadcast, great race. These guys put on an amazing show.
Yeah, absolutely. So a big kudos to all these guys at SMO-Hardcore, what they did tonight, and congratulations once again to Bob Kincaid taking up the big win here tonight on DRTV. But it's not about that. It's about we need to beat this dreaded disease called cancer. So anybody willing to rise up, donate money to the cause. I know there's so many places out there you could donate to, and we need to do all we can together collectively to beat this thing. So on behalf of my broadcast partners, 212 Todd Stanton, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, we're back on the air one night from now. We're going to be over at the excelracing.net, guys, and they have the Excel All-Star Race tomorrow night from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be on the air, I believe, right around 9 o'clock. Pay attention to our outlets here, Facebook, I believe 8:45, maybe live time tomorrow night. So pay attention out there, YouTube land, for a live race link. Find us out on Facebook, on DRL Network, and head over to the website, drlnetwork.com. We'll have everything posted over there as well. So 24 hours from now till tomorrow night, for Todd, for Rich, my name is Phil Lacasse. I'd like to thank everybody out there tonight for watching this special installment of DRTV live on the DRL Network. Good night.